safe to state that the grandchildren of some of the people in this theater will not be born on Earth. They come from the bowels of hell, a transformed race of walking dead, zombies guided by a master plan for complete domination of the Earth. Plan 9 from outer space. Starring the most nightmarish cast ever, Bela Lugosi, the seductive Vampira, and Tor Johnson as the Walking Dead.
Turn off your electrode gun! No! No! Stop it, Dennis!
I can't get it, it's jammed!
Stop him, you fool!
Bullets bounce off their bodies. Rockets, missiles, jets cannot stop their death ships. What earthly power can stop this terror? For a glimpse of things to come, see this blast of screen suspense. For it could be happening right now.
most diabolical kind.
13.
Maybe more. He's looking for only one thing. Blood.
Human victims for human blood. Experiment in horror to satisfy a desperate need never before known. A need that was not of this earth. From outer space he came to destroy the people of this planet, leaving in his path of doom a trail of terror.
He's going to kill me!
Stay there, I'm on my way.
I can't stay.
Good evening, goblins and ghouls, and welcome to the Friday Night Scream Stream. I'm your host, Spakenstein, joined as always by my very good friend, Mr. Evan Sink.
Good evening, everybody.
How we doing tonight, Evan?
We are fantastic. We're back after what feels like so long. And it's the dawn of a new season.
It is. It's the dawn of our 12th season.
Season 12.
The 12 seasons of Scream Stream. Perfect timing. We time that just right. And yes,
that's
Evan's
right. Yeah, I'm
not looking so smug tonight, are you?
Just you wait.
Oh.
I'm gonna be. This is my smuggest season yet.
Look out, Evan's coming out for blood this season. You better look at him. He's already in perfect smug mode. You gotta look at him just practicing all the faces. It's great. Well, we are super excited to be back here. Super excited to have everybody back here. I already see Kathy and Alana in the chat. Welcome, y'all. Again, happy to have everybody back. It was, we had a nice little break, a couple weeks off after the wonderful, most wonderful time of the year, which of course is Shocktober.
Yeah, and I hope everybody had a great Halloween.
Yep, hope everybody did. Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen you guys. Technically, I've seen you guys. But, we haven't been back for a movie since before Halloween. So, happy to be back here tonight for a movie. Had really a great time with Shocktober and all the fun things. And, unfortunately, yes, Alana, which if you've been watching for a while now, we got regulars. We got our trusty regulars here on the show, and Alana was one of them. She couldn't enjoy the Shocktober festivities that we had going on live because she took a little trip, which, she was kind enough to share some pictures with us. And I wanted to, again, we always like when our audience is sharing things that they're doing that are in some way related to the things that we talk about here, which, if is horror, public domain horror, and everything in the adjacent worlds. And so you'll know me, Spakenstein, obviously huge fan of Frankenstein. And of course, so
Are you?
am I?
I
Oh,
never
am
would
I?
have guessed.
Who would have guessed? But I am a huge fan of Frankenstein, the movies and the book. And I've read the book many times, and I've got I've got like not like a super old copy, but I've got a copy from when they released the Boris Karloff movie. So I like enjoy. I really enjoyed the book and the themes in the book, right? Mary Shelley, as an author, it's crazy to think that she was a teenager when she wrote that. She had a crazy life. You don't know anything about it. But Alana is also a very big fan of Mary Shelley. And she couldn't be with us for Shocktober because she was visiting Mary Shelley's grave. And she was kind enough to share some pictures with us, which I have here.
Yeah, now where is Mary Shelley's grave? Where's Shelley from?
So that's actually a great question.
Wow,
Evan.
look at that.
I'm not quite sure. Yeah, so that is the cathedral where she's buried. And yeah, maybe Alana, you can give us a better line on where exactly she's buried, because I do not know exactly. So, but I think Alana could tell you, and she's in the chat. So I don't know if you guys, the music when I switch to this is loud, but I don't think they can. I don't know if y'all can hear that or not.
Okay.
So I think it's good. If y'all hear the music and it's too loud, let me know. It's probably just too loud for me and Evan. I don't think y'all can hear it, but let me know if you can. So yeah, and Alana obviously knows a lot about the family tree, because here they have a whole little breakdown of who was buried there. Right. Okay. Bournemouth. All right. Interesting.
Is that how you say that? Bournemouth, or is it
Bournemouth?
Bournemouth?
That sounds. Yeah. Look at me. I wouldn't know. I think Evan's probably more.
I'm just guessing, but
I wouldn't know for sure. But yeah. So it's got a little family tree breakdown there, and then we've got the actual grave itself. So that's the what do you call that? Is that a tomb? Not a tomb.
Bournemouth
Is it just
yeah, I don't know. I guess a tomb.
I've never I don't get all my terminology right when it comes to all the grave stuff, but certainly try. Okay, wait, here we go. I think I don't know, still playing around with this music. It's so loud here, but I don't think you can hear it. But and there's a picture of Alana actually at the grave. And she told me, it was so funny. She was like, I had to remind myself not to smile. I had to remember I was standing in front of a grave, and so it's kind of a solemn thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, if it was me, I would have been smiling.
You would have been cheesing the whole time.
I would have been cheesing the whole time. So I'll look at Alana there, just keeping a straight face. And there, so that's I believe a pub, right,
okay.
Alana?
The Mary Shelley.
The Mary Shelley, right nearby.
Love it.
And I didn't. She sent me some picture of the menus and stuff. I didn't have those in the slideshow that I have here, but and there's a little picture outside with an artistic rendering of bolts. Pretty good. I mean, again, for a sign, it's some nice ironwork. I guess. Yes. Before you smiling. Okay. Yeah, that's across from the cathedral. Okay. It makes sense. That's obviously going to be a probably highly trafficked
right. Yeah.
spot. So
you get all your important sites just right near each other.
Right. Yeah. So, I love that. I think that's awesome that Alana did that and shared that with us. So I want to thank Alana.
Thank you, Alana.
It's awesome, again, that our audience is out and about, and any time that it's something that is personal or close to us here on the show. It's so awesome when you guys share that with us. And I've decided, since I was really appreciative of Alana doing that. I'm sure all you guys are, you've got monster stuff going on or something related. let's let's open up some viewer submissions. It's one of those things that we're finally at a point. We got a nice enough audience. It's like, okay, hey, you guys got something you want to share with us, some pictures, something you're doing, something you're working on, something related. Send us a message on Instagram. Send us an email over at screamstreamshow@gmail.com. And let's make viewer submissions a weekly segment. And I hope that, yeah, Alana, you were the first viewer submission. So congrats.
Yeah, congratulations.
Let's see if there it is. Okay, so congrats, Alana. So yeah, anytime anybody has something they want to share with us here, and we'll come up with a more creative name eventually than viewer submissions. But for now, let's make it a thing and share what you got going on. But we love to see it. So again, wanted to go over that, and we've just everybody's had their time off, and now we're here getting back into the swing of things. It's time to get back to the public domain movies, and we're starting season 12 much like we kicked off the season that started at the same time a year ago, coming off of Shocktober. We went a more sci-fi direction, and also more of a cult film direction, with probably one of the most cultiest cult films of all time, which of course was Plan 9 from Outer Space. Now, it's pretty hard to top Plan 9 from Outer Space. I think we can all agree. There's not really...
Right. It's kind of the crown jewel in the tiara of bad movies.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. I love the way you put that. That's great. You're right. I don't think that you can top not just what you could consider bad about that movie, but also what's endearing about that movie. There's so much to laugh at, but appreciate, and especially again when you come from a indie filmmaking background, you appreciate when somebody is tenacious enough to pull an entire movie up by their own bootstraps, to basically do pretty much all the big jobs. I mean, because yeah, writing, directing, producing, big job obviously, but you're doing all that plus editing, plus, because Ed Wood did that. He edited Plan 9 on top of everything else. I'm sure he did some other things too. We obviously cannot beat the pinnacle of Plan 9, but we have something that may be close, and I don't know because I haven't seen it.
Okay.
Which is, again, I think every movie this season is one I haven't seen. So that's a rare thing.
Okay, we got a whole season.
Whole season.
Okay, we're doing a if Garrett hasn't seen it, it's new to him season.
Right. Yeah. I was trying to think. Can we come up with a more clever name for that? I like that. I think that has a nice ring to it. But yeah. So we can't beat Plan 9, but we're going back. We've got something else from outer space. And we also have a auteur indie filmmaker who pulled a movie up out of the ether that, really should have been impossible. And it, on the side, has a wildlife story that you would never guess. So
Okay, so we've got another Ed Wood type.
We got an Ed Wood type. So that's the thing. I think we got a solid cult movie tonight. Tonight we are watching 1959's Teenagers from Outer Space. It's all in the title, right? Don't you love that? It doesn't get...
Says it right there on the 10.
It doesn't get any more, again, you know what the mashup is. Aliens, teenagers,
teens.
Boom. I mean, hey, a recipe for success? I don't know. We'll find out tonight. Speaking of recipes, as always, if you've been watching, our very good friend Mr. Evan Sink whips up a delicious recipe for a delicious cocktail to pair with the evening's film in a little segment which he calls...
What were you drinking?
And what are we going to be drinking tonight, Evan?
So tonight, we've got a teen movie. So I thought, why not try to get in touch with our inner teenager?
Oh, okay.
Which,
okay.
Unfortunate phrasing, and also, I found whenever I was doing the research for this, to come up with this recipe, it also led me to make the uncomfortable Google search. What are the teenagers drinking nowadays?
Oh,
Which,
I don't know.
I searched that and I felt really bad afterward.
Yeah.
But so but the teens, they be drinking still.
They do be drinking.
They do be drinking, and they certainly were back in our day. So I thought, and I feel like I'm kind of treading a close line here, but to be clear, I'm not endorsing underage drinking.
Oh,
but,
really? Are you?
But the inspiration for tonight's recipe is, what were the teens drinking then? What are the teens drinking now?
Okay, so you got like a generational thing going on.
Yeah, and whenever I made that Google search, I actually found some articles which I thought were people making listicles about what the teens are drinking nowadays, and it seems to me that seltzers are really
Seltzers are just big with everybody.
That's true.
They've
That's
broken
true.
the generational boundaries. Seltzers have, I think.
Yeah, they've been
Oh, sorry.
they've been on,
Fat fingers.
they've been on the scene kind of since. I feel like they didn't exist as much, if at all, when we were teens.
Seltzers were, maybe they existed, but it was not like a thing that people were into.
Right.
Not like now.
Yeah, not like the teens are nowadays, purportedly, according to these listicles.
Evan over here with all
no,
these-
now I'm on a
He's
listicle.
definitely on a listicle.
But I was also thinking, so what was the is there a quintessential teenager cocktail that I can play off of? And the first place my brain went to was Jaeger bombs. And not because I particularly drank them whenever I was a teenager, but I feel like the image around alcohol, like if you're trying to get messed up, Jaeger bombs are just like it's just what people do.
Right.
So what I've cooked up tonight is something I'm calling the teen scene. This is Jägermeister, orange bitters, and a splash of lemon seltzer.
Okay, just a
So,
splash.
A splash. Then
interesting.
you can interpret that however you feel. Just follow your heart when it comes to the splash.
Okay.
But I don't know if this is. We're doing a little experiment tonight.
Uh-oh.
Mixing things with seltzers isn't really something I've come across much in our drink making journey thus far, but we're gonna try it. I'm trying to not leave stones unturned here on the show, so we're gonna go for it.
Where he's going, did you hear that? He's going for it. Look out. Look out. And again, the beauty of the wide angle, getting to see Evan mixing it up back there. Right. Thank you, sir. Ooh, all
right. So
the teen scene.
Yeah.
I can see
the teen
it
scene.
right now. Well,
we'll give it a shot.
All right.
Cheers, everybody. This is the teen scene.
To season 12.
Season 12. You know what? I was primed to not like this.
You like it?
It's not bad.
I don't hate it, but it's almost, you know how they say that Jägermeister tastes like licorice?
It does. Yeah, well, it tastes like licorice.
Well, the cocktail, but it tastes like the kind of licorice that you get, and it almost doesn't really have a taste. But then you get the vague licorice, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, there it is. So it's wild because at first it didn't taste like anything. Because you know how licorice can kind of be like kind of flat, you know, and you have to kind of search for the taste.
Right. Yeah.
The flavor, that's the word I'm looking for. You know, I had to kind of search for the flavor, but it's there.
It's got that. Seltzers are pretty refreshing.
Mhm.
Like it's a good, refreshing, summery drink. I like that. It feels very light. Right? So I'll have my Jaeger light tonight.
It's definitely light, which, yeah, Jaeger, a lot of the things it's paired with, that's not usually, light is not usually a priority. So, I'm glad that you know, again, I'm glad that's what the teens are drinking, right?
It kind of works. And, you know, I was afraid because whenever I was doing the research for this, you don't really find a lot of recipes that mix seltzer, especially hard seltzer, with anything. But I did find a tweet that said, "Warning: do not mix Jägermeister and White Claw."
What?
So, but sorry, not because of health reasons, but just I think that person's
because of
had a
the
bad
taste
experience.
is just not.
Yeah, but so White Claw is like a malt beverage, whereas what I've got is like vodka based, which I think makes a difference.
Oh, okay. I see. That makes
So
sense.
yeah, if you're gonna mix seltzer, just be careful, I guess.
Be careful. Drink responsibly.
Yeah, teen responsibly, man. So you know we're doing show and tell tonight.
Yeah.
Ooh, show and hell.
Show and hell.
Show and hell.
Like
So
that.
if there are any questions about whether or not seltzers are kind of like a thing aimed at young people, may I present Exhibit A?
Oh my God! Wait, what is
Blue
this?
raspberry seltzer. So in order to get the
Ew.
lemon seltzer, they only sell that brand in like a case, so I had to get this
Yeah.
multi-pack. I don't know that I've ever seen a blue raspberry, alcoholic beverage. Have you?
I can't say that I have, but I can say that sounds like something Truly would do, which I see that's what the. Not to disparage.
I tried one earlier. They're
Yeah.
really not bad, but
But-
it's also I don't know if you guys can see this. It's not blue raspberry. It's blue raz.
Blue raz.
Got that blue raz, which sounds like a Gen Z, Gen Alpha thing. To
That's
me.
the new color of our lights, actually.
Oh, yeah,
That's what
blue raz.
Yeah, that's what blue raz.
Put some raz on it.
Blue raz, yeah, man. Haven't you heard? No. So that's wild. I mean, again, you know, where's the marketing? It's always, you know. And again, perfect segue into tonight's movie. How do you get a movie like this? Of course, it's marketed to the teens and the people in the drive-ins, and that's part of how this movie became a cult classic. So again, Teenagers from Outer Space. This is a movie that over decades gained a cult following. Obviously, like many things, helped out by Mystery Science Theater, but also its own public domain status, which, you know, again, when you're public domain, it helps.
It helps. If you're a weird, bad indie movie, most likely you're gonna fade into obscurity unless you're in the public domain.
Right, and then you're in the clear. So yeah, so it's funny. So that's how this movie kind of ended up getting its cult status later on. But for the longest time, people didn't know very much about this movie or the people who made it. And so there was a lot of rumors, a lot of mysteries about the people involved, confusion, but ultimately the director. I say the director. What I mean to say is the writer, director, producer, editor, cinematographer. Which again, you know,
The
like we
everything.
said,
The all of the above.
we're getting a different kind of Ed Wood tonight. This guy's name is Tom Graeff, and he he's a character. You know, again, it's the beauty of these indie films that these people just come out of the woodwork, these enigmatic characters that like want to do it all and put so much of themselves into a handful of movies. In this guy's case, just this one in terms of doing all those jobs. But you know, a lot of research was done. A lot of stuff came out over the 90s, 2000s. So I'm going to share that tonight. A lot of fun facts, some wild things. Did you think that we would be talking about the resurrection of Jesus Christ tonight, Evan?
I sure did not.
Because that's one of the things
That's
we're
where we're
into.
going?
Jesus 2.
Jesus 2.
But just wait, because that I'm saving that for later in the show. But rest assured, it's if you've seen this movie before and you don't know anything about the making of it or the people involved, then you are in for a treat. Because that's the other thing is that I read a lot of reviews and just people who were interested in the story of this director because they had seen the movie on TV when they were a kid and it never left their brain. Like I read multiple people who said that about this movie.
It just clicked with people.
It clicked with you know, and again, mostly kids when they kids when they had seen it. And so it's funny the way that, I mean, that's how it worked with me, you know, like all these movies have just never gotten out of my head. So now I'm channeling into this. But other people wanted to learn more about the movie and the people who made it. And so
they got to work. They started digging.
They did, and they dug up some wild stuff and maybe some stuff that people didn't want dug up. And so there's some other mysteries that haven't been solved. So we got a lot of stuff to get in here.
Tonight on Unsolved Mysteries.
Tonight on Unsolved. Yes, it's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, I mean, again, anytime you've got a movie that's got all that baggage with it, it's like, okay, hopefully we're in for a special treat. I think so. I hope so. But we'll see. We will see. We are excited. And of course, you know, we'll be bringing you all the facts, all the good stuff. And you know, the final thing I'm trying to decide if I should say this fact now or save it. I think it's just an interesting fact to go ahead and bring up that there's a more interesting side to it, but let's just say one of the trailers we saw in our pre-roll, Not of This Earth, the second trailer. Basically that movie directly led to tonight's movie. The director, Tom Graeff, was directly inspired by the making of that film.
Okay.
Because he worked as Roger Corman's assistant. That's a Roger Corman directed movie.
Okay.
And he got to watch Roger Corman work and decided, oh, I could write and direct a sci-fi movie.
We got a Corman disciple.
We did. Well, again, this is the late 50s and that was the times. But I just felt like I'd go ahead and, you know, before we watch the movie, just go ahead and know what kind of world that we are adjacent to, things that we've seen before, give us some context. Okay. Obviously, I think Corman in those late 50s sci-fi movies that we've seen a fair number of at this point. I think it's just good to have that frame of reference. But anything else before we get into it tonight, Evan?
So you want to know what the real answer to the question, what are the teens drinking nowadays? Here's my listicle. It's one item, whatever they can get their hands on.
Whatever's in the cabinet, right? I mean, that's yeah, I would agree with that.
Just whatever's around.
Whatever's around, exactly. And Wayne's in the chat. Welcome, Wayne. Good evening, sir. Glad you could join us for the season 12 premiere. We're just about to get into Teenagers from Outer Space, and yeah, we're enjoying our teen drinks, and we're all strapped in, ready to go. So,
well, let's light this rocket.
Blast off without further ado. We're gonna go ahead and get into the exciting beginning of Teenagers from Outer Space right now. Oh. Alana's pictures taking over.
Dr. Mason. Dr. Mason. I'm sorry. I guess it was nothing. A sudden light reflection. It startled me.
There's no doubt a comet or a meteor.
No, it seemed to be a drill-shaped thing. Revolving.
Yes, yes. Tell me more about your
No,
mother.
it must have been my imagination. But it makes me realize how desperately alone the Earth is. Hanging in space like a speck of food floating in the ocean. Sooner or later to be swallowed up by some creature floating by.
Oh, come now.
Time will tell, Dr. Mason. We can only wait and wonder. Wonder how. Wonder when.
So far, the dialogue is coherent, and the UFOs aren't on a little string.
Off to a good start.
So off to a good start.
So this music is stock music that also has popped up in Night of the Living Dead and Killer Shrews and multiple public domain movies. And you saw there, it said Tom Graeff presents David Love in. It's a whole very interesting story with Tom Graeff and David Love. We'll get into that tonight.
Okay.
Nice.
What?
No!
Oh,
Wow,
Oh,
what a way
no.
to start the movie off, man. Killing
Teens.
dogs. Teens killing dogs.
Teens killing dogs.
What is it with these juvenile delinquent aliens coming to our planet and killing our dogs? There. I'm not even gonna say it. Too soon. That tiny little spaceship.
Yeah, they all fit.
Must be a lot of radium in that warehouse.
Report preliminary findings.
Thor reporting. 42 saturation degrees and 96 volumes. Intermediate fluctuation in Marfan content.
Derek reporting. Tridex mixer components ratio exceeding
Derek
7 to
the
1.4.
alien.
Moore reporting.
Diagonal adjustment
They all
reading
have, like,
resisting
Mara,
structural
Mara,
forms by
Derek.
2.8.0 vernums.
SAW reporting. Uneven cartoid levels intersect planes below .03.
Surface readings register above minimum requirements. Morrow, go below and bring up the young Gargan specimen. Now the decision depends on its reactions.
Wait, Captain. I have found evidence of intelligent beings on this planet.
Of what concern are foreign beings?
Of none to you, Thor. Just as you were so unconcerned when you destroyed the small creature. So bravely.
It was no more than an insect.
But it had life. And that life you had to take to satisfy your endless hunger for killing.
Silence, both of you. Proceed, bring the Gargan.
That will not be necessary, Captain.
Oh, wow.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Wow.
Conditions here will be reported as unsatisfactory, as they were on the other planets we have charted.
By what authority?
You will prepare for takeoff. The ship will leave this planet immediately.
According to our code of operations.
You may forget the code of operations, Captain. Only
I'm
civilized
Captain,
beings
no.
could have made the inscription on this metal piece. We shall not have the thousands of Gargans brought here to destroy them.
You have concern for foreign beings over our mission to locate grazing land for our Gargan herds? Recall, it is
Bleeding
necessary
heart
as a reserve
aliens.
food supply for our people.
Our people. We live like parts of a machine. We don't know our fathers or mothers were raised in cubicles. The
Metropolis?
sick and the old are put to death.
It is the one and only way to maintain the supreme race. Have you forgotten that?
Our people have forgotten. They have been made to forget for centuries. But I have learned how it once was.
Yeah, Lana, is
Families,
Derek a Norse
brothers and
mythology
sisters.
name?
There was happiness. There was love.
Oh, what do you
Yeah, you know,
speak?
Thor, Loki, and
From
Derek.
where have you learned such things?
I have read. I have read from this book. I discovered it and kept it hidden. Somehow it survived the flames of the Annihilators when our people were turned into mechanized slaves centuries ago.
When we return to our planet, the High Court may well sentence you to torture and death for this
The
treason.
High Court may judge me after we have accomplished our mission.
Is this
We will
Fahrenheit
find an
451
uninhabited
from
planet to
outer
which the herds
space?
of Gargans
Right,
may be
exactly.
shipped
Yeah, took them this
without
long.
endangering civilized beings.
Let me see that book. I am interested to see what sways your mind so heavily.
You may have it.
Bring up the Gargan.
The classic gambit.
You were a fool, Derek. This book has poisoned your mind,
You're a
and you
fool,
shall suffer
Derek.
for it.
Captain,
Hey, let me see your book.
if the Gargans are shipped here,
Oh, you kind of look at
the
that.
inhabitants may destroy them. That possibility alone makes it worthwhile to locate an uninhabited
No,
planet.
you're right, Alana.
Yeah,
One of them,
they're-
no,
they're-
yeah, we were just,
Indeed
yeah.
made you forget many
Just the
things.
fact that one of them is named Derek. It just
We are
like,
the supreme race. We have the supreme weapons. Keep him under guard, Thor.
And he's
I
got
will study the
to have
reactions of the
a
young
perfectly normal teenage boy name so you can fit in with the teenagers. He inevitably shakes these cold-blooded aliens.
Before the High Court has you executed, you should be made to watch what happens when we return here with the Gargans.
So the guy on the right is
By
actually
the
one of the
elements alone, they will grow to
financiers
millions of
the
times
film as
their
well.
original
Oh, wow.
size in less time than it takes for the sun to rise and fall.
It thrives, Captain.
Brian
Already I can feel it
Pearson.
has grown heavier.
We shall return to our base and lead the transport ships here.
Gargans, dude.
Soon this planet will be covered
Gargans,
with
not
full-grown
lobsters,
Gargans.
okay?
A safe distance from our planet, yet their meat will be available to us for the harvesting. Repack the
They need the
instruments.
human meat for the
I shall
Gargans
radio
to
back
eat.
the news of our success.
Captain! Captain, something has gone wrong. Look here.
What? What has happened?
I do not know. It suddenly fell limp, and now does not move.
Assemble the TRSs, hook in the gas grading instruments. Be quick!
resuscitate this lobster.
The atmosphere here tested above minimum, but the Gargan species cannot live due to excessive nitrogenic gas compounds emitted in our preliminary
And
diagnosis.
again, let me know.
Then this planet will be reported as unsuitable?
Repack the instruments and prepare for takeoff. We will continue our search in another solar system. And when we return to our home base, you will be presented to the High Court with the evidence against you. Thor, Saul, bind the prisoner and prepare him for the isolation chamber. I will make contact with base.
I will make, and I'm gonna turn the volume down too. Maybe that always does a little something, something. And we'll, you know.
Expedition Z06 to base.
They shut us down because we're too
They were-
loud.
Yeah, well, we're not loud enough. The movie's too loud. We're not loud enough.
Lie down. Put your hands behind you.
But we'll try to like turn it up, turn it down. We'll try to keep getting little bits.
Yes. So they're not all teens, right?
Not the aliens. No,
Okay.
I guess there's just 18. Well, even if, you know, who knows what the age.
Teenager from outer space.
Who knows how ages work on that planet. You know?
Okay.
They could all be 150. you
I
know?
guess for some reason I was expecting like just like a race of alien everybody's a teenager. I don't know how that works, but
Your orders are complete.
He is escaping!
Uh-oh. Yeah, you just had him laying on the ground. What did you... Oh. Damn, nice. Ooh.
How did he get free?
He escaped from Saul.
How?
I could
How?
have stopped him.
Derek is to be brought back alive. He is the son of our leader.
Derek?
I reported his actions and was connected with the leader himself.
He never told us about that.
He said
Oh,
Derek
he didn't
does not
want
know.
to. He didn't want to be treated
The
differently.
son of our leader, the High Court will pardon him.
He will be pardoned. When the sky is light, we will begin to search for him.
Captain, look at this. The Gargan,
Take 3.
it is not dead.
It has revived.
It flourishes. The excessive nitrogenic gas compound shocked its system. Now it thrives on the very same compounds.
Then this planet is suitable.
Completely. I must resume radio vision contact. Morrow, Saul, secure the Gargan by expandable leg bands. Out of sight in that cave.
Classic
The
cave,
size
that
it
cave.
attains by the time we return
convenient
will
cave.
give us an exact growth rate to expect of the herds.
At the rate the Gargan is expected to grow, what will prevent it from tearing loose the leg bands and escaping from the cave?
We shall be back before that
The
happens.
leg bands.
Unless
You
it
telling me
receive
they got
food
rubber
in
bands
excess
on
of
this
the
lobster?
atmospheric elements.
Rubber
We
bands
will
are
leave
the
nothing
only
else
thing
for
stopping
it
the
to consume.
Guardians from taking over.
Imagine thousands of beasts like that, millions of times enlarged, roaming over this planet.
They will be harvested from the air, so there will be no danger to us.
Let us be quick. I do not like to look upon it.
Gargans, also known as Alaskan king lobsters. Red king
Now that you
lobsters.
report the
These
planet
aliens are
is
eating pretty
suitable
good.
for our purposes, you are to return here immediately and prepare to lead the transport ships there. Derek's escape could now mean difficulty in our operation should he communicate in any way with the inhabitants, inferior though they may be.
If we are to return now, how can he be stopped?
Leave your best man to find Derek and inform him he is my son. I will join you on the return trip to meet him there.
He may be stubborn. He has already threatened our lives.
If that becomes the case, he must be destroyed. And any beings with whom he might communicate, they must be destroyed. Your orders are complete.
I shall send my best man.
So the guy playing the leader is
I
another
heard the orders,
financier
Captain.
of the film.
Let me find Derek.
You will wait until the sky is light enough to
Did
begin
they
the
finance
search.
the film so they could be
We will
in
leave
it?
now. and return here to
was that
meet you
just,
when we bring the
Just kind
Gargans.
Kind of worked
It's
out.
kind of part of the deal.
Okay.
In Glassford, there's a very interesting reason why the mouth movements may be more exaggerated than the dialogue.
I shall not fail.
Basically, you know how if you don't record it with sound, you'll loop the lines later. Here they did the opposite. They recorded the dialogue first, and then in certain scenes were playing it and having them mouth along mime to the dialogue.
They were lip syncing.
They were lip syncing to their own recordings.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's.
Isn't that wild?
I don't know that I've ever heard of somebody doing that.
It was done. The website for the director Tom Graeff that someone made states that it was done to because they couldn't afford sound equipment on location. So
Would you tell me the meaning
and so the actors would have to
on
memorize
this
their
metal piece?
Sparky, 1243 Willowcrest Drive. That's just 3 blocks down there and a few doors up. You can't miss it.
Oh, he's got the collar for the dog. He's gonna go tell him, hey, your dog's dead.
Hey, what's what you're doing now?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just trying to make out what kind of clothes that guy was wearing. Looks like some kind of military uniform. Wonder where he's from.
Could be from Mars for all I care. Hurry up there, boy, will ya? I haven't got all day.
Not far off. The old curmudgeon.
Hop in, I'll give you a lift.
Lift?
Well, it's a long way into town. Okay, it's all right with me.
Wait.
Oh, strange. That is weird. Kathy, what are you doing with that?
Never saw a uniform like that before. What brings you here?
I am searching for someone.
Maybe I can help you. Know a lot of folks around these parts.
I am searching for someone you could not know.
Excuse me for asking.
The owners of Sparky.
Your dog is dead.
I put Sparky's breakfast out 20 minutes ago, Grandpa, and it's still here.
He's probably still out chasing gophers.
He loved her.
Hello.
He really did.
You've come to see our room for rent?
What's that?
A fellow to see the room for rent, Grandpa. You show it to him, will you? Joe'll be by for me in a minute. We're going swimming at Alice's, and I haven't even changed yet. Well, come on in.
Just letting a strange guy right into the house, huh? Did they even say anything to each other?
I'm Betty Morgan, and this is my grandfather.
Now, how do you do, son?
Oh, my God.
Just arrived in town? Don't believe I've seen you around before.
I just arrived.
And your name?
Derek.
Derek.
What a perfectly
The
normal
empty room
teenager
belonged to
boy
my
name.
brother Bud. He's married now and lives upstate.
Your brother? You knew your brother?
Did I know my brother? That's a strange question to ask. Grandpa raised us both since we were kids after Mom and Dad died.
I'm sorry, It's just that I never knew any brothers or sisters.
Your mother and father decided to play it smart and avoid a lot of squabbles around the house.
Oh, Grandpa.
I never knew my mother or father.
Well, let's take a look at the room, and if you like it, you're welcome to stay.
It's this way. I'll show it to you.
Hey, I thought you were getting ready to go swimming.
No, that can wait. Right in here, Derek.
Whoa. They landed in the most hospitable town in the country, I think.
Yeah, seriously.
People are
You want a
excessively
lift?
friendly.
You
Here,
act like
come
you've
on
never
in.
seen the inside of an automobile before.
What is this?
The gear shift. Where have you been all your life?
The gear shift. Tell me what it is for.
Now look, mister, I didn't offer you a ride to give no driving lesson.
Tell me!
Sure. I didn't mean anything. Here's the clutch. When I push it in, I change gears. low, second and high.
Oh, is this how Michael Myers learned to drive? The
No,
person that gave him a
stop,
ride's
press the
like,
brake.
here's how you
Right
do
here.
everything. That's how it explains
Starter
how
and ignition
someone
switch.
that was
And
institutionalized as a child
Are
abruptly
you
knows how to
kidding?
drive.
Gasoline, of course. Here's the gas pedal right here. It's about time I have the tank filled.
Tank, fill. Cool. Old Texaco station. So the grandpa has been in a movie that we've
Asked him
seen.
where he was from, Grandpa.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He just said he was
See, I
from
won't say
very far
anything.
away.
See if everybody
He did, huh? Well, maybe he doesn't like to talk about where he's from. By the looks of his outfit, I'd say he's raised in a private school of some sort.
Well, Grandpa, if he just got into town and can't pay the rent until he gets a job or something, would...
Well, what do you say, young man? What do you think of the room?
You will let me live here with you?
Well, sure. That's why we had the sign up. That's why you came here, wasn't it?
Not exactly.
Derek, I was just talking
He's
to
not gonna
Grandpa.
tell him. He's gonna chicken out.
If you don't have the rent money right away, that could wait until he gets a job, couldn't it, Grandpa?
Why, sure. That's all right with me, Betty. But then if he doesn't...
You just let this deadbeat live in your house?
I don't
like
need a
it here.
deposit. It's
You're
fine.
cute. You don't
I would
need
like
to pay.
to stay.
Fine. I'll go out and take down the sign. You can use the phone to have your bags brought over.
My bags? I have nothing else.
No other clothes or anything?
We were not allowed to. I mean, my uniform is all I have.
Gosh, you've got to have more than that. Bud left some of his clothes in the closet, Grandpa. Couldn't Derek use some of them?
Of course, my dear. Bud wouldn't mind a bit, I'm sure.
Oh, golly, that's Joe. Put on whatever you like from the closet, Derek. I'll be right back. Make yourself at home.
She gotta go break off
Hi
a
there,
date.
Joe. Hi, Gramps. Betty, I'm afraid I can't make the swimming date. Not till later, anyway. Got a sudden assignment for the paper.
Oh, gosh, what now, Joe?
I have a list of folks to interview. Say they saw a new flying saucer last night.
That sounds like it might take you all day.
I hope not. I'll call you as soon as I get through, okay?
Okay, Joe.
So Joe is actually writer, director, producer,
Yes, a
cinematographer, Tom
reporter's
Graeff.
life can be pretty...
Credited as Tom.
You never know
Lockheed.
when a news story will break.
Part of the
Just
confusion behind
Maybe Derek would like to go swimming.
the
if you
movie
let us
was
borrow
not
the car.
known. Tom Lockheed,
Betty,
you
what
know,
is
people
that?
didn't know for the longest time
If
that
you don't
was
think
him.
Alice would mind.
You don't know Alice. I won't be able to keep them apart.
They actually thought that he was playing Derek. They thought that David Love was a name that he made up for himself to play Derek. But that was erroneous. No. Let's see, what is it?
Hey, what's going on in town anyway, mister? A convention or something?
What?
For those clothes you're wearing. I talked to a guy this morning who was wearing the same kind of outfit.
Maybe the guy you're looking for, huh?
You spoke to him? What did he tell you? Where did he go?
Hey, what's the matter with
Blast
you?
him.
Hey, take your hands off me.
You will tell me what he said to you.
Oh, why should I? Hey, who do you think you are, anyway?
Answer me, or I destroy you.
He came here with a dog tag. Wanted to know about the address, and I told him how to find it.
Where? Where did you send him?
It was an address on Willow Crest Drive. 1243, I think.
Tell me how to get there.
Just drive down there about 3 blocks. That's Willow Crest. 1243. It's only a few doors up.
Nice. Got him. Wow. You better get that guy. You know what I think is a pretty great thing about this? It's the same skeleton every time. But that's the beauty of it, you know? It's filmmaking. You only need
I've never
one.
piloted a vehicle like this before. I will try again.
This time, pull in there. That's Alice's house.
Alice fucking must have some rich ass parents.
Yeah, welcome to Alice's Palace.
Oh, much better.
Wait, Betty.
Yes, Derek? What is it?
Yeah,
When I came
Spark,
to your
it's
place,
definitely a
was
medical
because of-
school skeleton.
Yes.
I had just arrived here. I did not know where else to go, but everything was so strange to me.
I'm glad you came. So's Grandpa. Without any family or friends, you wouldn't like it at a hotel or any place like that. Come on. I hope Alice can dig up some swim trunks for you.
Hi there. Who's the stranger?
Joe couldn't make it, Alice. I talked Derek
She never
into
put her
coming
head
along.
under the water.
Derek, this is Alice.
I know.
Derek.
Your hair
Hey,
doesn't
I
stay that
like
dry, even with the
that.
cap.
Come on in. The water's fine.
Well, we need a pair of swim trunks. I couldn't find any at my house.
No problem at all. He can wear a pair of my father's. The folks are gone today, and so are the servants.
Was
We
it
have
going to be
the
one of those
whole
old-timey,
place to
like,
ourselves.
full-body bathing
The
suits from the
onesies.
20s?
Where are the trunks, Alice?
Hanging up right over there.
They look a little large for you, Derek.
Or maybe you better put them on with some clothespins, too, just in case.
I guess it's safe to try them on anyway. Over there at the bathhouse. What was that?
Don't worry, I'll get it.
It is what I wanted to tell you about. The reason I came to your place.
Oh, no.
When I did not know where
This
else
is the
to
worst
go.
time for her to find out.
Heck, I thought it was a 50-cent piece at least.
Why, that looks like... Who it is? It's
dog
Sparky's. Sparky's dog tag. Where on earth did you find it?
Because Spark,
When I
she,
first arrived,
I
I was with
know
some others.
what...
One of them
The swim
destroyed a
caps
small
aren't that
creature.
good. I wish they were
Later,
that good.
I found that.
Because I wouldn't have had
among the
trouble with my
remains.
swim cap today, which I got mad at
You
in the
mean
pool because it kept
somebody
coming
killed
off.
Sparky?
Slammed it
Oh,
down.
no,
while I got
Derek,
on
it
the
can't
walls.
be true. Why would
Don't
anyone want to kill
cap.
Sparky?
This is a defective
Betty,
swim
I'm
cap.
sorry.
Tell me who did it, Derek.
They
Fucking
are gone
silicone
now.
bullshit.
Only I remained.
But I don't understand. Where is Spark? Will you take me to where it happened?
I'll get dressed and come with you.
No, Alice, please. You stay here. We'll see you later.
Don't get out of the pool. That's why she had that look on her face. Oh no.
This guy's gonna get vaporized too. Looks like he figured out the
Well,
car.
well, so Derek didn't come into town alone. If you're looking for him, he isn't here now. He and Betty, that's my granddaughter, they went over to the Woodwards. Why don't you go on over there? No doubt they'd be glad to have you joined in the fun.
Yes. How do I go there?
The Woodwards are straight on down the street about 3 miles, just before you get to the park. Got the biggest house in the block down there. You can't miss it. Where are you fellas from, anyway?
Can't miss
Don't
anywhere.
believe I've seen uniforms like yours before. Military secret, eh? Well, it doesn't matter. Derek didn't say where he's from either. Don't let me keep you. You're probably anxious to see him.
And that is gonna take us to our first break. Well, we're a third of the way through Teenagers from Outer Space. What are we thinking so far, Evan?
I think this grandpa's toast. Poor guy.
Well, hopefully he can last a little bit longer. He's a nice old grandpa.
Yeah, yeah, very nice. Everybody's so nice in this town.
I know, right? And I mean, yeah, gosh golly gee, mister, you want a ride? You need to know where to go. I mean, everybody's just, yeah, I don't know. But so far, I mean, it's the pacing has been very quick, right? I wouldn't say
it hasn't been languishing.
No, we've gotten 3 murders if you count the dog, which you should count the dog because it was a valued member of the family.
Hey, named character.
Right. He has dog tags and everything. So I don't, kind of, it was sad. It was a hell of a way to start the movie.
I know,
With
right? Yeah, just
killing
right
a
off
dog.
the bat. Yeah. As far as you said that we have an Ed Wood type going into this, and I was kind of expecting more of a Plan 9, and so far this movie hasn't really been that bad.
No, like I think I think we shouldn't look for it to be the bad it's good on the level of Plan 9. I think that it has been mentioned in some of the same circles because of things like the bad lip syncing, which it's not bad, but you can just tell something's a little odd.
Yeah,
right?
honestly, like if you hadn't said anything about it, like I noticed it, but I assumed they were just doing a like they're aliens. They talk different.
Straight, yeah, they just have a weird kind of cadence with their robotic.
Like, I was willing to just accept that. Like that wasn't really. It didn't take me out of the movie or anything.
Yeah, that was when I read that that's something they did. I was just like,
kind
why?
of yeah. My question is why?
Yeah. Well, again, apparently it was because they just didn't have the equipment to record on location sound for certain. Because I don't think they did it for every scene. Certain cast members, when they were interviewed later, they couldn't remember doing it that way, but certain people did. So I think they did it that way for some scenes. Other scenes were different. It's not.
Yeah, doing it before though. I mean, I guess.
You do that for musicals. That's like, musicals back in the day, they'd, that way the actors, they're lip syncing the music or the words and they're dancing usually.
Okay, so maybe that's where they got the idea. I don't know.
Yes. But yeah,
I mean, sometimes when you're doing things indie, sometimes strange decisions just get made.
Right.
But, at the end of the day, they made the movie. So
right, and I mean, I think what you said, noticing that it's not quite on the level of Plan 9 in terms of being bad. I think what you're noticing is there's some kind of like not polish, but it's a little more refined than Plan 9. I think, right? Like,
yeah. It's like I said at the beginning, it's coherent,
right?
Which is more than you can say about Plan 9 a lot of the time,
right? And I mean, the idea of just this one alien who's he's different from all the rest.
Yeah,
he's got the social kind of, like you said, kind of a bleeding heart, right? Like he's kind of, but he does. He's into these kind of this social kind of cause, and it very much reflects the writer, director, everything in the movie, Tom Graeff. And it kind of gets us into his life story, which is, again, I think one of the most interesting things about this movie.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, where does this come from?
So his family moved to California when he was young. Obviously, when you're in LA, you get sucked into the business pretty quick. So he went to UCLA, studied film, theater, and made a couple short films while he was in college, or at least made one that it got screened and there was a pretty good reception. He was able to get a comedian to appear in it because they were an alumni from UCLA. So, he had that, and then he got, he was trying to break into the business, so he was doing short films, school informational videos. Yeah, Glasper, that's actually exactly right. He actually got hired to film a recruiting film for a college, and the short was actually narrated by Vincent Price. Yeah, right.
Wow.
It was a favor for the faculty chair. It wasn't, he didn't have any connection with Tom Graeff, but again, hey, you get Vincent Price to narrate your recruiting film. I mean, that's
huge.
That's a pretty good step forward. And that was in 1954. And the year after that, he actually made his first feature, which was like a fantasy comedy, and he actually starred in the movie. But it didn't really go anywhere. It didn't get picked up. I think he said later on that it was never really finished. But he tried getting out there, at least getting a movie under his belt. So, with the first couple shorts and then that movie, he worked with a very young actor who worked under the name Chuck Roberts, whose real name was Charles Robert Kaltenthaler. And Chuck Roberts is who was recredited here as David Love and is playing Derek. So they went back to the beginning of Tom Graeff's film career and also became lovers and were, so like very, obviously at that time it was not like a thing that people were open about, but they were in a relationship, and I guess Graeff kind of saw him as, this guy could be a star and I'm going to make him a star. And, so they lived together while they were trying to break into the biz. So the next big thing from Graeff, like we talked about earlier, was getting the job of assisting Roger Corman on Not of This Earth. And let me tell you something, Roger Corman assistants have gone on to do big things. Peter Bogdanovich, Francis Ford Coppola, those are just a couple of Corman assistants.
Yeah, like I think I've made the comment, the Corman disciples, the disciples of Corman, people who go on to do their own thing, like that's a thing.
It's a thing. They call it the Corman School.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they call it, and it's filmmakers, but it's also actors. Like Jack Nicholson was part of the Corman School. So, a lot of like Corman acolytes went on to do great things. But Graeff's story's a little bit sadder. But he got to work on Not of This Earth and was really inspired by the way that Roger did everything, Obviously non-union, wearing many hats, doing, like Graeff apparently has plays like a bit part in Not of This Earth, like just a couple seconds role. But that was Corman. Grab a crew member. You're an extra now. I need you to play this character. So he, getting to see Roger Corman work obviously was like, oh, well, I can do this. Sure. If he can do this, I can do this. So that was how he got started. He put an ad out saying, he wrote the script, then put an ad out saying, I'm making this movie. I need $20,000. He didn't get 20. The budget was ultimately $14,000, which kind of par for I think Corman was closer to like 25,000. I think the Poverty Row movies were kind of close to that.
Okay, we're kind of at the bottom, the basement, the minimum.
Right. That's as low as you can, as much as you can scrape together. And by all accounts, it was very much a case of them using guerrilla filmmaking tactics. Like Graeff said, oh yeah, I'm a UCLA student, even though he had been out of school. I don't know if he ever graduated, but he had already been out of school, but he was telling people he was a film student. They were doing everything they could to wrangle locations. They did not have permits. Like the cave that we saw them at earlier, like that's like dozens of sci-fi and B movies from the 50s, serials were filmed at that cave.
Have we seen that cave?
We might have. We might have. I need to look up for sure to see what movie. Maybe in Bestiucca. I don't know if they filmed in Bronson Canyon or not, but Corman filmed a lot of movies up in Bronson Canyon. There were a fair number of movies shot up there. I can't tell you off the top of my head which ones we saw. But
that wasn't the Mesa of Lost Women. Was it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
I don't think so. But we've definitely seen it before. But it was, he was doing it again, like we talked about earlier, actors that, there were financiers who also acted in the movie, and I think they were already actors. So I think it was a thing of like, oh, I'm going to give you the money, but like, of course I'm going to play this big role. So, the actors aren't bad. I don't think that, I think they hold up pretty well.
No, I mean other than the lip syncing thing.
Right,
But, I mean
right.
even that's not terrible.
And like we said, the skeleton was a they reused the same prop skeleton every time.
Which I love. I think you can like see the bolts like holding the walls together.
You can't. The other interesting thing is the ray guns, which are toy ray guns. And I do have some pictures because it was I mean the toy was literally called a disintegrator.
Oh, great.
So the atomic disintegrator by Hubbley. And there's another picture of it right there, so you really see how it looked up close.
It disintegrates you except your bones.
Right, exactly. Your bones
are disintegration proof.
Disintegration proof. So yeah, they didn't obviously a toy is gonna cost I think that probably costs like under $1. So, you make some modifications to it and boom, there you go. I think that's what they did. He did work with Paul Blaisdell, who was like Roger Corman's monster guy in the late 50s. In AIP, the, B-movie studio. He did a lot of like creature suits, monster effects. He was the guy, but apparently he was like very, strict about his rate. So if you couldn't afford him, he wasn't going to do you any favors.
Okay,
He wasn't. So
don't waste his time. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Like apparently he did do. He was the one. So you know how the ray guns, they look like they're doing a little kind of light action, right? Well, Blaisdell was basically hired to modify the gun to put a little mirror slice on it so that when they turned it toward the camera in the right way, the reflection would hit light and it would make that effect.
Okay.
So it's
That's pretty clever.
Yeah, like simple way to do like an effect that actually has some some pal to it. So it was kind of a cool thing to hire him to do actually something that worked. But there were other stuff they wanted they wanted him to design the poster, they wanted him to do the Gargan stuff, and he's like, you can't afford me. So he wasn't doing any favors.
You're stuck with the lobsters.
Yeah, right, exactly. And then the last thing before we go to break, the Ed Wood connection. There is an Ed Wood connection with this movie. Earlier I said, did the actor playing Gramps look familiar? That's because he popped up in Bride of the Monster playing the police captain. He's sitting at a desk playing with a bird. He's got like a little parrot or something, or some kind of little bird. And
that's the guy.
And he's missing like his index finger or something.
Huh.
You notice it in Bride of the Monster when he's playing with the bird on his desk, but you notice it here right away. He went to shake Derek's hand, and I forgot about it. So when I saw it, I thought Derek was gonna react to that, but he didn't. But I reacted to it because I just forgot. So I felt bad. But it was that was just a thing. They're not, they're not mentioning it. It's just a thing of the actor. But Harvey Dunn, who was in that, he was also in another Ed Wood movie that came out after Plan 9 entitled Night of the Ghouls. So, Phantom Empire, Bronson Canyon, EGOT, Bronson Canyon.
Oh, yeah.
Bronson Canyon has been used a lot, and we've seen it probably more than we even know. There's actually they had some pretty clever stuff going on here in terms of how they made the movie. But they had trouble getting it sold. That became the challenge, and that caused some problems, which we'll talk about after the break. And that gets into it's kind of the stuff after the movie is really more interesting than anything else. So we'll talk about that in the second break, the big stuff, the Jesus 2 stuff. But you know, here the important thing going in is to know is that they shot this fall of 56 and then went a little bit into early 1957. And then it basically sat on the shelf for 2 years as they tried to sell it. Couldn't get a deal made. And in that time, other movies came out that kind of like predicted where this movie was gonna, like this movie, if it would have come out in 57, it would have been kind of like ahead of the curve with certain movies. Kind of the two genres that it matches up, which are aliens and teenage monsters.
Okay. So somebody else, I guess, beat them to the punch.
Well, and yes, so those are the two trailers that we're going to see during the break. It's funny because both these movies are directed by the same guy. I think they came out in the same year, 1957. So after the production of this, but again, if this would have been picked up right away, it would have competed with these two movies. But the first is kind of the first teenage monster movie, certainly the most iconic. I Was a Teenage Werewolf. And that's the first trailer we're going to see during the break. That was a big hit for American International Pictures. That kind of ushered in the teenage monster craze, which didn't last very long. It lasted a couple of years, but still, that one, you know, that was a big movie, and the director followed that up with a movie entitled "I Married a Monster from Outer Space." So you get an alien sci-fi monster movie. So it's just funny that both those movies come out in 57. They probably did pretty well at the box office, but they're both two separate movies that tonight's movie kind of like almost combines. And it probably would have come out before those movies, but it ran into problems post-production, which it happens with indie movies trying to get distribution. So that's what we'll talk about later. But we're gonna get these two trailers for. Oh God, what was the first one?
I
Was a Teenage Werewolf, and isn't it funny? They're both I.
Yeah.
I Was a Teenage Werewolf, and I Married a Monster from Outer Space.
Speak in full sentences, please.
Yes, I need to know exactly what's happening here. You need to give me a full rundown in the title, please. So you're going to get these two trailers, and then we come back, we'll get into the exciting middle of Teenagers from Outer Space. So stick around, we'll be right back.
Help me, Doctor, please! I know they're going to catch me, but don't let anyone see me like that. Please, Doctor, help me!
Michael Landon in a powerful performance as the boy possessed. Yvonne Lyne, appealing as the girl who loves him. Whit Bissell, unforgettable as the scientist maddened by the mystery of the werewolf. And Tony Marshall, a tough, friendly enemy.
These the official pictures?
Yes, Chief.
Slash on either side of the throat.
You got any theories? Fangs.
He was killed by a werewolf.
Panic penetrates every home when this strange, unknown killer hits town, taking hold of the teenage crowd, coloring their practical jokes with hysterical humor that'll make you fall flat on your face with horror.
No. Remember how wonderful it was when you sprang and suddenly dug in with your fangs, a soft throat, the gush of warm blood?
No! No! Nothing you've ever seen has such blood-chilling savagery. Nothing you've ever conceived packs such a spine-tingling jolt. This high school boy, a teenage werewolf. A constant threat of claw-ripping attack to everyone, to the brave and the beautiful.
beautiful, innocent girl on her honeymoon. Her passionate dreams of perfect romance turned into a living nightmare. For this sweetheart she married, the man she had loved, was merely the hollow shell for the invaders from outer space.
Bill.
Who would believe her? Who could help her through the flesh-crawling terror of this unearthly marriage, when anyone she turned to could be one of them? Could she touch the body of this masquerading alien who wanted to learn the secrets of human love?
Your race has no women. It can't have children. It will die out.
Eventually, we'll have children with you.
What kind of children?
All kind.
Was it true? Could space monsters mate with Earth women? See the startling answer in the shocker of them all.
And we are back. So yeah, that was the trailers for I Was a Teenage Werewolf and I Married a Monster from Outer Space. Yeah, wild effects, right? I mean,
how many years before Star Wars?
like about 20. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. These 50 sci-fi movies, the effects, like some of them, especially obviously the more expensive studio movies, you know, they have a lot of pretty wild effects that still, I told myself too, I said I'm scrolling down and I'm getting,
it's okay.
I scrolled down.
Okay. Don't beat yourself up, Garrett.
I'm gonna
It's okay.
beat myself the same way I beat myself up on Tuesdays when I play Manos. But no, okay, thank you, Spark and Glassra. It's always so funny when we like switch between Twitch and YouTube, and I like just call y'all by the names that I'm seeing, and it's like Kathy, Alana, Glassra, Spark. Like, I know who's who. Okay, I'm keeping track. But no, so it's funny though. In both of those trailers, I think you can see bits and pieces of kind of the movie that we've got tonight. So it's just funny that had everything gone right with the post-production of this movie, you know, I mean, maybe it'd have a better reputation than it does. But there was a lot of kind of complications in the release.
So how did it finally? It sat on a shelf for a few years.
Right. Well, so part of that is because what I'll go ahead and tease. I was gonna save this tease, but basically had such a hard time getting picked up until it got picked up by a major studio, a major Hollywood studio, which I'll talk about more during the second break. But it's important to know that in the 2 years between it getting picked up and when it was done, you know, Graeff really tried to find a distributor, and there were rumors going around that he had made a deal before he made a deal. So the producer, Brian Pearson, who was the actor playing Thor, when he heard that there was a deal, he's like, well, where's my money? And there hadn't really been a deal made. He ended up suing Graeff to get his money back. And the judge basically ruled, all right, well, you can get your investment back, but, you know, profit. We'll actually talk about that more in the second break, because that goes into the release of the movie. And the fact that it got picked up by a major studio, you would think this is the big break for the movie, right? You would think.
Yeah.
Didn't turn out that way. But why? we'll talk about that in the second break. So we're about to get into the second half of Teenagers from Outer Space again, where we left off. Derek the alien is gallivanting around with this teenage girl, although he's just broken the news that her dog was murdered by his comrades, who are searching him out, hunting him down to either take him back or kill him. We'll see which they're gonna do. But yeah, it's a basic rundown of what we got so far. So, anything else before we get into it, Evan?
So it's convenient for this alien that they all just coincidentally look like people anyway. I feel like he changed clothes. How is he gonna find him now?
Yeah, and that's how everybody's like, well, you're not from around here, your clothes are weird. And so yeah, you put on, you're gonna like, yeah, fucking Thor's gonna show up. Derek's gonna be standing right there, and he's like, well, all I see is a perfectly normal teenage human boy. And it's so I don't know, we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, any did I ask you? I always have to re-ask if I asked you.
I need a flag or something to hold up.
You do. I need more of a signal, Evan. Come on. We need to know if we ticked that box or not yet.
Send up the signal. We're about to get into it.
We need 2 big flags for you to wave. That's how you'll get my attention. I'll be doing semaphore over here. Well, on that note, we're going to go ahead and get into the exciting middle of Teenagers from Outer Space right now. Oh, yes, she wants to see her dog's bones.
Where is he, Derek? You don't mean those old bones. You can see they've been here for a very long time.
No. It was among these remains that I found the metal inscription.
This couldn't be Sparky. I know. He must have been here and his collar tag fell off, that's all.
You are not familiar with the focusing disintegrator ray?
The what?
The what?
It projects an isolated beam which separates the molecules of living material in chain reaction. All
transforms
but the solids,
people into
the
skeletons.
skeletal braces.
Horrible. And you mean Sparky? But
you can bring him back,
right? When the same beam was aimed at me. It missed, and that is what is left.
That's what it looked like before.
Heavens, Derek, you've got to explain it to me.
This is the desert.
Why were they doing this? Where were they from? How did you?
Betty, tell me, what is the most advanced form of transportation that you know?
What do you mean? What's that got to do with it?
Please, tell me, Betty.
Well, airplanes. Jet airplanes, I guess. Why?
And where do they go? From where to where?
Well, anywhere in the world.
And that's all?
Where else is there to go?
I should not have brought you here.
Is it about a new secret weapon? Something you and the others invented, and then they turned against you?
It is something like that. I guess I should try to find someone I can explain it to.
Maybe Professor Simpson at the college. He's head of the science department. He will... What is it, Derek?
Betty, when you learn where I'm from, well, you may not understand, but I hope it will not make any difference between us, because...
I don't care where you're from. I don't understand all this, but somehow I feel that I've always known you. That we've never been apart.
The most cliched romantic line.
Let us go
Somehow
to
I feel like
Professor
I've
to
always
speak of.
known you.
We have to pass the house first so I can change.
What was that? Did you hear a sound?
Oh yeah, I guess she is in a swimsuit. I just thought,
the
hey, classic
What sort of sound?
late 50s.
Nothing.
That's not a dress.
Imagination alarmed me. Come, let us be on our way.
That would be a very, very short dress. Uh-oh.
Well, hello. What can I do for you?
You are alone?
Could be.
Where are the others? The ones who were with you?
Why do you want to know that?
Tell me where they are.
Say, who are you anyway?
Never mind. Just tell me.
Well, they left here. They're gone.
Where did they go?
I think you better get out of here before I call the police.
You will call no one. You will do as I say.
That's what you think, mister.
I said you will call no one.
That's what I would do. Nice. Put some dry ice in the pool. They had to do something to make the bubbles go up like that. That was pretty good. There was like a lot of pressure coming in.
Wait, wouldn't a big block of dry ice do that?
What?
Send bubbles up?
Well, but would it be little bubble? Like, it looked like a lot of water. Like,
yeah, it was a pretty good churn.
Like, I've seen that at, like, pools with, like, big diving wells where for the divers, they'll have water bubble up when they, so I don't know if it's some kind of, I don't know what, some kind of motor, fan, something.
Grandpa was asleep, so I left a note so I'll know where we went. If I know Grandpa, we'll be back before he even wakes up.
Better hope Grandpa's asleep. Did you check to make sure he wasn't a skeleton? Oh, okay, no. There's no mistaking that for a skeleton. Skeletons don't swim.
Skeletons don't read the newspaper.
Hello.
It's like one of those
Hello,
books
Gramps.
from
This
back
is
in
Joe.
the day.
Betty there?
Like Frankenstein
She
doesn't.
and Derek went out over to the Woodward's pool. You could probably reach her over there.
Derek? Who's Derek?
Oh, you haven't met him yet, have you? He rented Bud's old room this morning. Seems like a nice fellow.
Oh? Well, the reason I called, I wanted to tell Betty I stumbled onto a double murder story that may keep me longer, but, well, after I get the story into the paper, I'll go on over to Alice's and see her there.
skeleton
A double
back
murder,
there.
Joe?
You see it?
When was it? Where?
We're not sure yet, Gramps. There's only a couple of skeletons.
That's cool. That's a good.
We'll know more when the coroner gets here. We'll gotta get busy now, Gramps. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Joe! Joe, I just found a note. Joe! Hello, hello.
Too late. Uh-oh. Oh no! You're about to get blasted, Gramps.
Huh? Sure, I'm sorry. Betty left me a note. Now they've gone over to the college to see Professor Simpson.
Grandpa's just.
This guy has been. This whole movie is just on a wild goose chase.
Sending him around.
Hello. Where can we find Professor Simpson?
This is his office, but he hasn't come in yet.
Well, let's wait for him at the faculty parking lot. It's just around the building.
You may wait here if you like.
No, thank you. We'll wait outside.
So I believe that woman, that actress, is the wife of the actor playing Thor.
Good morning, Hilda.
Oh, good morning, Professor Simpson.
Hilda.
Have the aptitude questionnaires come in?
They're probably still in mimeographing. I'll go down and see if they're ready.
Ursula Pearson is her name. She apparently
Professor
survived
Simpson's office. The third door
the
down.
Nazis.
He's head of the science department.
No, she wrote a book about it, but I read some conflicting information.
Well, that looks like Professor Simpson's car right there. He must be somewhere else on campus. We better go back to his office and wait.
Hello? This is Simpson, science department.
Put that down.
What is the meaning of this?
Do as I say.
Who are you?
Where is he? The one who came with information for you.
Who? You are making some mistake.
I am making no mistake. Where did he go? Out there?
I don't know what you're talking about.
You will speak to no one else.
Thor's just blasting everybody. He crosses his path.
He sure got there fast.
a 4-foot.
Yeah, I was expecting that to be a lot.
Yeah, I did. It was like-
We found his car, so...
Yes, I know.
they could have
He
made
came in
it
right
look
after
like
you
more of a
left.
jump. Is that a J there on the?
Does the professor got a bone tattoo?
Oh, Derek! Oh, it's some kind of foolish joke. I'm not going to keep a job where this sort of thing goes on.
I want to believe what I'm thinking isn't true, but
She's got no time
It
for
was a
nonsense.
focusing disintegrator.
then
A screw
whoever
holder.
killed Sparky... But you said they'd gone.
For some reason, they want to stop me. Somehow we were traced here. I want you to get in your vehicle and go to a place where you will be safe.
But how could they... Grandpa. I left a note for Grandpa. They must have... Oh, Derek.
I will go to your place.
No, they may be waiting for you there. I can call Grandpa.
We have these things here on this planet called phones. Phone, Derek.
Which is the most advanced form of communication that you know of?
Hello?
Oh, Grandpa, thank
Phone.
heaven. Derek is all right.
Betty, what is it, child? What's the matter?
Grandpa, was somebody there? Somebody you told we were at the college?
Oh, yes, the friend of Derek's. Did he find you okay?
He's a murderer. He killed Professor Simpson, Grandpa. He's after Derek, and he's probably on the way back to the house right now.
Murder? But are the police?
Don't argue, Grandpa. Just get out of there.
Get out of the
We're
house,
going to the City Hall
Grandpa.
Police station
Oh,
right
fuck.
now. Meet us there.
The
Don't
killer
worry about
is
me, Betty. I'll leave
inside the
right away.
house.
This is
Goodbye,
the
honey.
nicest town in America. There's no murderers
I
here.
better call the police and let them know we're coming.
With what weapons are they equipped?
Well, guns. Why?
Guns that emit what?
Bullets? What do you mean?
Bullets. Centuries-old invention against...
Hello, operator. Give me the police department. Hurry.
I'm tired of these notes, old man. You're you're just running me around all over this city.
So, you won't believe it, but they came back, they left another note, and they're
Got it
gone.
right here.
They went very far away.
They've gone to Jupiter.
Yes,
Wouldn't you
we'll
know
be there
it?
right away. Thank you.
Betty, tell me how to go there. I want you to go somewhere else where you will be safe.
We're safer than the city hall. The police said they're going to have armed guards waiting for us on the front steps. I told them we'd be right there. Let's hurry.
Oh yeah, getting out the back door. Oh no!
Oh no!
What do you want? I spoke to my granddaughter. You're not getting any help from me.
Did they return here? Tell me. I have no reason to harm your granddaughter, but if you do not tell me,
You can kill Derek?
Why should you care about him?
Why shouldn't I? Why do you want to kill him?
It is important only that he leave here, that I return him to where he belongs.
And where is that?
From where he escaped. I need not harm anyone if you tell me where he is. If you do not, there will be many deaths. Beginning with you, now.
He's not here. He's in the center of the city.
Where? Take me there. You will pilot the vehicle. Go. Be swift.
Oh my gosh. Terrible idea. He knows every city in this town. You're gonna be driving around for hours.
Betty?
Every road
Anybody
in this
here?
city.
Holy mackerel.
A lot of cities in this town.
You think the tip might have been a phony, Mac?
Don't think so, Harry. The
I'll
girl
see
who
you guys
called seemed to know what she was talking about.
Another call, Mac. Joe Rogers, reporter on the Daily News. He's on the way over. Found another skeleton. Only this time at the bottom of a swimming pool.
The city hall is just up ahead in the next block. Oh, I hope Grandpa's there waiting for us safe and sound.
What are you
Skeletons
doing?
all
Be
over
silent.
town.
Continue
It's
ahead.
getting real spooky.
So this is all guerrilla, like
You'll
they
be
didn't
safe.
get permits.
He's after me, not you.
Just people with guns out here.
Yeah, just out in the street. Running through traffic with
a little toy disintegrator.
firing blanks, or are they adding this stuff on post? Do you see the little...
Yeah, there's a little...
Oh!
That was great. Nice. I love all the skeletons, dude. Wow, dude, what up? I wouldn't expect a shootout in the middle of the
Stay under cover.
Betty, thank the Lord you're safe. I just came from Alice's. There was a skeleton in the pool.
Thank the Lord.
Oh,
There's a skeleton in the pool.
We came to meet Grandpa. The murderer came in the car with him.
What? But how did you get mixed up in this?
Since he killed Sparky out by the old mine. He's an insane killer, Joe.
And he forced Gramps to drive here? Where is Gramps? Is he okay?
Yes, he's... Well, there he is trying to get across the street.
You stay put.
He doesn't have anybody. He's an old man. He needs somebody to help him cross the street. He can't do it.
He's stuck.
Wow. Alright, grab his arm.
What are you doing down here? Go into the building. That is the safest place.
Look. Here on the sidewalk. Drops of blood.
Betty, go into the building.
Derek.
Give me the weapon you have, Derek. Slowly. One sudden move and I slay you both.
Derek? Derek, do as he says.
Get in! You will take me to a man of surgery to remove the metal pellets from my flesh.
That is not possible.
Yes, we must. We must do as he says. I know a doctor's office. We'll take him there.
She is very wise. Now go!
And that's the way it happened. Next thing I knew, he was trying to fire out the window at Betty and Derek. I swerved the car and... Say, where is Betty?
That's funny. She must be around someplace.
But the car's gone. They must have left without me.
Well, don't worry, Gramps. You'll get an escort home. I'm going to phone the story into the paper and then drive out to the old mine.
Well, he
Betty
better,
mentioned.
because he can't cross the street by
What's out
himself.
there?
I don't know how he's going to
know. That's where she said Sparky was killed by the guy.
Sparky, our dog? She didn't tell me about that.
Hey, Mac, over here. Blood spots on the sidewalk. And where's that car that was parked here?
That's it. That's how the killer got away. In our car? Then Betty and Derek, they must have been kidnapped. You've got to do something. You've got to find them.
This is it, Derek. That's Dr. Brandt there. He looks like he's leaving.
Stop him. Block his path.
Is there some emergency? I have a house call to make. Office hours don't begin for another hour.
Go inside, all of you.
I say, what is this?
He's holding a gun on us, Dr. Brandt. We had to bring him here. He wants bullets removed.
I see. I'm afraid I cannot be of any help. You will need hospital facilities for
Yeah,
anything.
he's not that kind of doctor, is he?
You will remove the pellets here, now.
Leave these people alone, Thor. Where is our ship? I will take you there.
No, it is gone. Do as I say.
Derek, please. Doctor, you must try.
But the other aliens left.
What did they do? Are they all looking for Derek? Like, is Thor the only one that's running around town causing a ruckus? Doing a bad job?
You will have to lie down here. I will prepare an anesthetic. The pain
I guess
will be
he
great.
is that kind
I
of
will not
doctor.
be drugged. You will simply remove the pellets. Both of you, sit there. I shall keep you covered. Take heed. One treacherous move and they pay with their lives. Now proceed.
You're gonna have to take your eyes off of this song.
Thor, tell me why you have been searching for me. It must have been important for you to have...
The Gargan are to be raised here.
I forgot
You
about the
could
Gargans.
not be allowed to run free.
But the specimen reaction was negative.
It was verified positive after you escaped. The captain should have let me kill you when I had a chance.
And why didn't he? I saw him stop you when you fired at me.
Because he just learned that you were the son of our leader.
How did he not know that? I mean, I guess they
don't know their mother and father.
They explained it earlier, but I guess they just... Oh, uh-oh.
I guess my question is, if they're from a society where they don't know their parents, then why is that still considered important?
Yeah, why would you care? Well, again, but you know, he's the
Then
one
if I'm not
alien
to
that
be
cares,
killed,
Derek.
why did you
know?
fire at me in the city?
Your life or death was put in my hands. A traitor does not deserve to be our next leader.
The only reason you do not fire now is to force attention to your wounds. When that is done...
Proceed!
You got one.
Antiseptic must be applied to your wounds, and you will need bandages. I'll get them.
Just walking right in front of the ray gun. Doctor's not worried at all.
Come back! I'll find you! You cannot get away!
I was terrified he'd see us before we got out of there.
He may yet. Get in. I will take you back to the police.
In his present condition, he cannot remain conscious long.
Doctor's like, get me the fuck out of
He should be
here.
completely helpless.
Derek, what was he talking about? The Gargon to be raised here, and you...
Get out
you
of
were the
there.
leader. You said you didn't know your father.
I did not know the
Derek
things he
talks
said.
too slow, but there's no time.
I thought they'd gone. I wanted to forget them forever. But now I know. They plan to return.
Wait a minute. I'm going with you.
Where?
To the old mine shaft.
How did you hear about that?
The old fellow inside. He's
The
been telling
old
us everything
mine
he can think of. Mentioned that's where you were going.
Okay, hop in. Maybe something will turn up out there.
Oh, Jesus. Thor's in bad shape.
You're in here? I know you are. I'll find you.
Yeah, when Derek or whoever it was said something, oh, you know, bullet, these primitive weapons, I kind of figured that
it wouldn't really have any
it wouldn't have an
effect on
effect.
him.
My
I thought
nurse, Miss
so,
Moss.
too.
She'll be arriving for office hours.
Seems like bullets work pretty well.
Pretty good. But they went back? Did they just drive in a circle?
I can hear you breathing. You cannot escape me. I'll find you. I'll find you. I'll find you. I'll find you. Ah.
Oh, this door died? Uh-oh, is this a nurse? Oh no!
Oh no. She's gonna patch him up.
She is oh. I thought he was gonna blast her with the ray gun, but right, she is gonna patch him up.
Dr. Brandt! Dr. Brandt!
Well, this looks like a job for the nurse.
I'm helping.
She's already left?
I'm the most important person here right now. Come on! She's good at her job. She just cares about her work.
Professional.
Dr. Brandt's office.
Miss Moss,
Saving
thank heavens I've
lives.
reached you.
Get
This is
out.
Dr. Brandt.
Where are you, Doctor? There's an emergency patient here. I've done all I can.
Listen, Miss Moss. He's a murderer.
He held hostages at gunpoint to force
I
me to
love
remove
they've
bullets.
used this twice
We
now.
were forced
Get
into
out!
escaping. You must get out of there.
You must get out!
We'll send
That's
the
my
police,
favorite
but if you
trope,
say
I
anything,
think.
could revive at any moment.
Yes, Doctor.
Horror movie,
I'll
getting
leave
that call
immediately.
saying,
You
get the fuck
come
out!
with me. Put that down. Miss Moss, what is it? Drop it, I said.
What do you want?
You will help me to escape. Go out.
This is bananas. Yeah.
That vehicle. Is that how you arrived?
Yes, that's my car.
Get in. You will take me where I say. If you disobey, you will be killed.
The police are on the way, Dr. Brand.
It's no use. I was too late. They're gone.
Thor has escaped? But how could he? You said he would be helpless, that...
Without aid. But my nurse, she didn't know. She bandaged him, gave him an injection. He revived.
Oh, no. We've got to tell the police. They might be able to do something.
I'll tell them. I'll tell them what happened.
Great. Weren't they with the police earlier? You would think the police would have wanted to hold on to Derek. Oh, well, I guess I forgot that they were taking the hostage.
Don't worry,
Still.
Derek. Thor will be caught. They're sure to find him eventually.
Throw him in jail.
It is
Throw them
what I
all in
noticed
jail.
coming here. The Gargan. They are small when young, but they can attain the size of this building in no more than a day.
What?
Can't you stop them?
The only chance is to duplicate the operation of the
GMO.
disintegrator.
How can that be done?
The men of science here might be able to do it if they could get Thor's as a model. If only there is enough time.
Gonna break free of those rubber bands.
You know, I don't get this guy. Animals are
I can't
humans.
believe they said
He
that.
just seems to like killing.
There's more to it than that, Joe. There's something behind this, something we don't understand. The weapon he uses, it's unheard of. Blasting flesh right off the bones.
Look at that tree over there. Used it for target practice by the looks of it.
I don't know. Let's take a look in the old cave.
Yeah, let's.
let's see what happens in the old cave. That is going to take us to our second break. What are we thinking of Teenagers from Outer Space so far?
You know, it's been pretty exciting. This has been a pretty exciting Act 2.
Right.
When we got to that gunfight, you know, that was really... I thought, okay, the movie's ended.
Yeah, you were like, oh, he missed the break.
Like, here's the climax. They're going to have their shootout, and then... But nope. Keep on going.
Pretty modern. Well, not modern, but I mean, you know, now every movie knows to put something exciting in the very middle to kind of keep, you know, get people's interest if you're starting to lose it. So, yeah, it was nice to see them do that there, right? And like actually, yeah, and I mean, there's been a fair amount of like, I was gonna say corpses, but I guess skeletons, right? That's been fun. I love the skeletons. Yeah.
Yeah, how about these reporters, man? They show up on the scene and they're like, well, here's a spooky... we've got a guy...
Wanna go check it out?
Yeah, we've got a bunch of skeletons, blasted tree. You wanna go check out this cave?
Very, like... something almost Scooby-Doo-ish. Everybody, they're all friends, you know? Like, come on, we gotta go see what this is about.
Come on, gang.
Where's the Scooby and the Shaggy when you need them? Be like, no, this is a terrible idea. What are you?
Well, Scooby got blasted at the beginning of the movie.
Oh, how could I forget?
R.I.P. Sparky.
Seriously. I mean, I think there's something to be said for the fact that there has been a lot of, like, a lot of the stakes in this movie, story-wise, are really rooted in emotional connections, you know? Like,
okay.
The idea of, oh, they kill this dog in the beginning, Derek feels bad about it, he's got to go tell the owner. Well, it's this girl who lives with her grandpa, and they're close, and so then when it all starts going crazy, you know, like the moment when she called the grandpa, it's like, you gotta get out, like,
yeah,
you know.
Well, I mean, even the reason that Thor is even still alive is because of there was somebody there who cared.
Right. Yeah, it's just it's funny how there's a lot of the movies that we watch on this show. Scripts are very by the numbers. There's not necessarily always an emotional motivation going into just every little character's why they, even when they do something that's kind of dumb or kind of like, well, why are they doing that? They should know better. It's still like, oh, well, you know, it's not just because it's lazy writing, right? Like there's a little bit more to it.
I really like this nurse detail. Like it's like, you know, it is a little convenient. You know, we get the bad guy back up at, you know, 1 hit point or whatever, but I like that it makes sense. Like there's a logic to it. You know, this lady's just coming to work and she sees this guy. What else is she gonna do?
It's like my job is literally to help that guy. So what else you gonna do? Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of nice little details in here. A lot of like the story-wise, you got to give Graeff credit, right? Like writing, producing, direct. You know, it's a pretty solid script for the time and what was par for this budget, this level of filmmaking. You're not getting something that is trying to swing this big. You know, that I think that's what you can say is that they're taking big swings. And like, do they all work? No, but just by virtue that they're trying to do way more than what you should be able to do on a $14,000 budget, you know, you have to give them credit. And that kind of is where we get into the aftermath of the movie. Once they'd finished it, and we talked about it, he had trouble getting it distributed. And it's not like he wasn't good at press or there wasn't press around the movie. Crazy story today I'd never heard before. And I don't know if it's actually related to this movie or not. I couldn't find 100% confirmation. But there's this great story that I came across today from 1957. So that was like in the year after this movie was made, but before it was released. And it was about how there had been an article printed in the LA Times about how the actress Gloria Swanson, who was in Sunset Boulevard playing the like crazy silent actress, she and her friends discovered a UFO out in the like woods like in LA. They were hiking and they came across, she had heard about it, so they went and looked for it, and they actually found this UFO. So the like this aviation expert for the LA Times is like, all right, let me go check this out. So he figured out where Gloria Swanson went and found the UFO and discovered pretty quick that it was made of wood, and interviewed some local people and found out that it was a movie prop that had just been left there a few months ago. It either may or may not be the saucer. In the article from the LA Times, they said it was from a documentary. A UFO documentary in 1957. I haven't heard of it. I don't know what that would be. I did come across one today. I don't know if that's actually the same thing. But this was the area where they were filming. It makes sense that it would be the saucer that we saw earlier in the thing. So
they just left it there.
So they just left it there, but that's the thing. So it didn't get attributed to this movie though, which is kind of weird to me because Graeff was pretty good at trying to find publicity wherever he could find it. That would have been pretty good publicity to say that silent film actress Gloria Swanson thought she found a UFO and it was just your movie prop. I think that's a fun story, but they didn't take advantage of it.
Yeah, come to think of it, if you live in California and you find a UFO, how do you know if it's real? How do you know it's not just a movie prop?
Yeah, more than likely, say it fell off the truck, right? Like 9 times out of 10, you can figure out what happened. But yeah, I mean, but he really had a hard time trying to sell this, and he had a part of the, that I talked about earlier, how he got sued by the investor / actor playing Thor. He had heard that Graeff got a deal with Allied Artists, who had distributed the Corman movie that he worked on, Not of This Earth. He had developed a relationship with the people at Allied Artists and thought he could get a deal. But then the lawsuit happened, and then eventually the deal fell through. And so, it was 1959 that it finally got picked up, and it got picked up by one of the major Hollywood studios, Warner Brothers.
Oh, wow.
Right?
It got picked up.
It got picked up. Yeah, literally picked up. It was bought by Warner Brothers to play on a double bill with a film which in the United States is entitled Gigantus the Fire Monster, but what is more commonly known as Godzilla Raids Again, the sequel to the first Godzilla movie. Okay. For the American release, Warner Brothers bought it, slapped a new title on it, probably dubbed it.
So this is the double bill with Godzilla sequel.
Godzilla 2, yeah. So this was the double bill, and it was the second half of the double bill. Warner's was just looking for a movie, they didn't have to spend a lot of money on that could support it. And it was this. And you would think that Warner's, this movie, must have done pretty well. Well, guess what? It did do pretty well. It actually made, so I said $14,000 budget. It made $1.8 million for Warner Brothers. 650 times domestic profit.
Yeah, you can't be too mad about that. Or can you?
But in Hollywood, the way that a lot of these deals work is, and especially in this case, like he was looking to get the movie bought, right? Like you're looking to basically sell your movie. Well, when you sell your movie and you get a lump sum up front, you're not entitled to further profits.
Yeah.
So up front, what do you think they got? The budget was $14,000. What do you think they got?
50.
$28,000. So just double.
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 Yeah.
Which probably to Graeff, after like the Allied Artist deal fell through, you're probably like, well, it's been 2 years. I just need to get this movie off my plate.
Yeah.
So but 1.8 million.
That kind of stings.
It stings, right?
Yeah. Ow.
Yeah. I mean, he got screwed, and that was unfortunately what led to essentially a mental breakdown for Tom Graeff. It was kind of coincided with the end of his relationship with Chuck Roberts, who is playing Derek. It all kind of fell apart for Graeff at the same time. And what kind of killed Graeff's career was the fact that the year after this movie was released, or wait, was it the, no, sorry, not the year after. Was it, okay. Yeah, no, the year after, I'm sorry, that is correct. He placed an ad in the Los Angeles Times saying that God had spoken to him and that God wanted him to spread the word of love. And then the next year, he placed an ad saying that he was going to legally change his name to Jesus Christ 2.
2?
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ 2.
The second.
I don't know if he said the second. Oh, yeah, the second. Okay. Jesus Christ the second. But I like saying Jesus Christ 2. But Jesus Christ the second. So obviously this was not approved. Just to clear that up. First, they did not approve the name change. Second of all, it was he was really trying to promote it and he was doing sermons and trying to preach, but it ended up causing public disturbances to the point that he was arrested multiple times and then was charged and was looking at 90 days in jail basically. And so he decided to skip town because it was disturbing the peace was what the charge was for.
Just like Jesus Christ.
Look at that. And Evan knows, okay? Evan's read the whole Bible.
I read the book.
Evan's read the book. I haven't read the book. Evan's read the book. Evan knows. Evan's our expert. So yeah, so he did. He went east, but he got more trouble. So he ended up spending some time in a mental hospital and received electroshock treatments.
Jeez.
And about 4 years after he initially proclaimed himself to be Jesus Christ II, he returned to Los Angeles, moved back in with his parents, and actually got another job. His last film making job, his only other one after tonight's film, Teenagers from Outer Space, which was a 1964 sci-fi film entitled Wizard of Mars. And this movie we're seeing tonight, wrote, directed, produced, edited, shot.
Yeah.
Wizard of Mars, he just edited. That's all it was. And it was for another kind of notorious kind of schlocky filmmaker. And it's a sci-fi play on Wizard of Oz, and there's some kind of interesting sci-fi effects and all that. But it, that was it. That was the end of his career. And he did try to get back out there even more, which we'll talk about after the break, but it didn't end well. And so we'll talk about that after the break. But it, you know, again, like Ed Wood, he kind of later we'll talk about it all. It's very interesting. But yeah, just the Jesus 2 stuff in and of itself is wild. But so the 2 trailers we're going to see for the break, first is for Gigantus, the fire monster, which this movie was on a double bill with. And then the second is for Wizard of Mars. So the only other film that Graeff was involved in. And then when we come back, we'll talk about, you know, Graeff's kind of, death and resurgence, death and rebirth, if you like, resurrection. And then when we come back,
Happy Easter.
That's what I started thinking today. I was like, should I have saved this for like around Easter time? Would that have been more appropriate? But no. We're having fun. So we'll get that and the exciting conclusion of Teenagers from Outer Space. So stick around. We will be right back.
And excitement to stagger the imagination. The fantastic fire monsters raging out of the flaming bowels of hell. Mighty Gigantus crushing whole cities in its wrath. And deadly Anguirus screaming its challenge of mortal combat. The battle of the ages. Scenes and sights and sensations beyond anything the screen has ever shown.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off for the fantastic space-age shock show, The Wizard of Mars, starring John Carradine. The Wizard of Mars. Never before in the history of motion picture technology has there been anything like the frightening new dimension of ultra-depth. It's not 3D, it's new. The most thrilling movie experience of all time. The Wizard of Mars dares you to remain seated as gigantic fireballs crash out of the screen and explode over your head. The Wizard of Mars double dares you to remain in the theater as a Martian electrical storm crashes into the audience. The Wizard of Mars triple dares you to retain control of your mind as telepathic creatures attack your brain, crash diving into a thundering time storm to experience the most incredible screen journey ever taken. A beautiful girl and 3 desperate men against the fury of Mars, the alien beauty of the Martian landscape, and the glistening subterranean Martian canals as you ride the rapids into the fiery depths of the Martian underworld. Journey through the Valley of Fire at the center of the Red Planet. Enter, if you dare, the haunted Martian city of the dead. Beware of the ghost-like creatures who refuse to die. Encounter the Colossus of the universe, the mighty Wizard of Mars, conqueror of 1,000 worlds, master of the stars. Witness a battle with a gigantic spiked pendulum of death at the center of time. See the Holocaust as 2 great universal forces destroy the mighty Martian time dome. Don't miss The Wizard of Mars, starring John Carradine as the Wizard, with this great cast at a specially equipped theater or drive-in in ultra depth, color by Deluxe.
And we are back. So that was the trailers for Gigantus, the Fire Monster, and Wizard of Mars. And yes, Evan's mic is on. I did make sure.
Do we check?
Yes, I absolutely, yes. Evan, you can give him a check one.
Check. Mic check.
Yeah, I think he's good. So yes, I got, damn it. Sorry. Fat fingers. But yeah, no, Alana, yes, it is sad, but we'll get kind of a happy ending, maybe. We'll try to make it a happy ending, even though I'm about to give you some more sad stuff right here.
Yeah, over that break, I was honestly, feeling kind of down. Like, that was such a sad story.
Yeah, well, I'm not done.
Okay,
so
okay.
it gets sadder.
Oh,
I don't
no.
mean to,
Oh, no.
Yeah, like, because you're right, Alana. Yeah, I mean, it's mental illness, especially in Los Angeles, of all places, where you feel the pressure of everything around you and the legends and everything you want to, obviously there's just, that's a lot. But, the thing with Graeff was that I think Evan noted it in the movie, like, right away, with Derek, and kind of even though jokingly, it was with the idea of like all this bleeding heart alien, right? Like the idea that you can see in like a character like Derek that there's this something about the social causes, right? Like there's humanity and what's right and what's wrong. It was all like, important, like, in the same way that Ed Wood's work, everybody talks about how you can see kind of the ideals and the things that shine through.
Right.
Kind of, I feel like you see that with Graeff's stuff, because he did, he poured himself into that when the film stuff wasn't working. But he gave the film stuff one more go in the late 60s. He was trying to sell a script, which was going by all these different names, and eventually he put an ad in, I think, Variety, stating that it was entitled Orf. I'll say that again, Orf. Orf was the name of his script, and apparently it was very bizarre. I don't know what it was about. But he said that people were involved with it that weren't involved with it, and he said that he was selling it for $500,000, which was an unheard of price to sell a script for in 1968. And so the reporter that he told this to, she, they kind of had a back and forth. And then and I do actually have the articles or some of the things that were published about, there's one, that's where the one where he said God spoke to him. You see Thomas Lockyer Graff right there. And then this was about him, Christ the second appears, so-called Messiah in Hollywood. So, he had these like articles that were out there about him. So when the reporter kind of got mad at him, she went and found that, he was the guy who was saying that he was Jesus the second.
Man.
So when she put that out there, that ended his career. He was done. And so then he threw himself into those social and also religious causes, because he was a religious guy, and he didn't struggle with his sexuality. Like, quite the opposite. He was very much of the belief that men were naturally either bisexual or homosexual, and literally had a mail order business where he sold these LPs from a lecture that he gave that stated as such. And let's see, was it and on the back of it, he claimed that the use of this record was to try to help and suicides of men who were struggling with their sexuality. So there's a little bit of kind of like a prescient, like he probably would have been a better fit in today, you know,
I mean,
the last couple of
yeah,
years
maybe,
than in
yeah.
his own time. But again, you have to remember the late 60s, like 69, like was that the Summer of Love, or was the, you know, again, just the sexual revolution, all that. I mean, he did kind of come in at that time. And apparently his talk was even broadcast on like local radio stations like a couple times. So he got some kind of airplay for his sermons on sexuality. So there was you know, he tried to throw himself into these other causes even after the film thing ended, but he also apparently talked to his friends a lot about suicide, and they just didn't think that he was serious about it. But ultimately he ended up taking his own life. You know, carbon monoxide, you know, he was in his car, and he was 41 years old. It was in 1970. So you know, it's one of those sad things where you see someone that actually has some talent and some promise. They get taken advantage of by a Hollywood studio, a big studio. And ultimately, due to a number of factors, they kind of, you know, they have a really sad story, but they get rediscovered later. And we'll talk about that later, but that's kind of always the silver lining. And again, with Ed Wood, he had a sad ending.
Right.
You know, the alcoholism was what ate him up. And that is a kind of a whole different tragic thing.
It's a cruel, cruel world, man. You come, you preach a message of love, and they just take advantage of you.
And yes,
sad.
Glassjaw is way off in the Summer of Love, so thank you for that. But yeah, but there's, you know, still, you know, a lot of this information was not known until later. So we'll talk about the information that came out later, while it came out, some of the rumors that still exist, and, you know, projects that were promising but haven't gotten off the ground, and maybe there's some strange reasons why. Tom Graeff related projects, and maybe why they haven't gotten off the ground. So we'll save that for the end. You know, still some interesting stuff, but we're about to get into the exciting conclusion and where we left off. They're all heading back to the cave, it seems like. So
Back to the cave, gonna get some Gargan action.
So excited to see that. Anything else before we get into it, Evan?
I really hope this isn't inappropriate. I'm not trying to be insensitive, but so over the break, while we've been gone from the show, I finally got around to watching Phantom of the Paradise, which is a movie that I've really fallen in love with. I actually just watched it again last night.
Really?
I've been trying to show it to people because it's one of those that I just feel like I want to share with people. And it's kind of the same story. You have, you know, an artist who is, you know, taken advantage of and ultimately ends up in a really, you know, tragic situation.
It's crazy how, whether it's fiction or real life, there's something very true in that's just the way that the world works, that these kind of big corporate entities will take advantage of an independent artist, and it usually has a very tragic ending. You hate it, but I think it's good that you bring it up, because it is kind of a narrative that we do think about with showbiz fiction, but it is very much show business. That is the reality of show business.
Yeah.
So, for what it's worth. Yeah, we're getting to the darker side. But
yeah,
you know,
gosh,
again,
season 12. We're setting a somber tone here.
To me, there is a beauty, and that's the fact of these films that most people, teenagers from outer space, and it's like that's the tip of the iceberg.
Right.
Now we're finding all
we're
this
so
other stuff,
we're
like,
so deep now.
Whoa. So hey. And there's more. I got more for you, and I'll try to. And it's all more like I gave you the lowest. I think we'll go up from here.
Okay.
And I won't try to keep you too long, because you know when we get to the end, we try to wrap it up quick. But I do. There's some more interesting stuff. So we're gonna get the conclusion of the movie, and then we'll get the conclusion of just the legends around this movie.
Okay.
And so,
all right.
Without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into the exciting conclusion of Teenagers from Outer Space right now.
You've got to tell me.
It is not far now.
Look, you can't escape. The police will find you.
Possibly they will. But barricaded in the
Thank
mountain
you,
of a cave,
Glastra,
with you as
988
hostage
Suicide
and me with this...
How long do you think you can
Suicide
hold
and
out that
Crisis
way?
Hotline.
Long enough. There will not be too long to wait.
Remember to broadcast that.
Hey! Bring your flash bulbs up here. This tunnel is black as pitch.
Okay, I'll be right up.
This cave is as dark as a giant lobster.
Matt!
An intruder already.
No! I won't let you kill anyone.
I see you do not value your life. He's getting away. Follow him.
No.
Dare refuse?
Well, at least he didn't blast her.
Yeah.
God, man, see, like, to just, like, steal those shots, like, you're not supposed to do this. This is definitely illegal. Oh, nice. Stealing
So they're
that
stealing
shot.
this shot. We're just gonna crash
so
this car.
apparently they all pushed it off the cliff, and they said it was the Ursula, the wife of the actor playing Thor. She said it was like the most fun, and they all had like all like
Oh, man, I bet,
pushing
man.
this off, and
Just push a car off a cliff.
and also knowing too that it's illegal. Like, you got,
I don't think so. Just bruised. Oh, thank heavens it's over. It was like a nightmare.
I'm glad the nurse got away.
Oh, what do you mean?
Back in the cave where he shot at me. Some kind of man-eating
Again,
monster.
that is Tom Graeff right
Poor
there.
Matt, the
That's
guy I
it.
was with. I could hear the thing tearing him apart. He was dead
I
in
mean,
a few
he's a pretty
seconds.
good actor
How
too.
horrible. What could it have been?
I don't know. But whatever it is, I'm afraid the nightmare has just begun.
The man guilty of these strange killings now lies mute in confinement at General Hospital, where he is being treated for minor injuries.
We got him in the hospital.
Authorities plan to transfer him to City Jail tonight. The fantastic murder weapon he used has not been located. Mystery still surrounds the disappearance of a man-eating beast said to have been in an abandoned mine shaft outside the city limits.
Did we see it
These
get out?
newsreel shots were made immediately after the city police surrounded the cave and found it completely empty. Evidence in the cave appeared to confirm the report that a monster of some sort had been shackled there, but had
So
somehow
the
attained
other
strength
aliens
enough
were
to
raising
pull
the
itself
guard
loose and escape. Groups of armed volunteers have set out in search of the creature, hoping to track it down and destroy it. Meanwhile,
what?
Thor crashed just below here. If that disintegrator is down there, I'm going to find it.
Derek, I just thought. The monster that escaped from the cave. It must have been there at the same time we were. What I can't figure out is, why did it escape when it did? Why not sooner?
It would not have been large enough, but the man it consumed increased its growth rate.
Then, how big would it be now?
There is no telling. You stay here. Keep the door closed.
I would not like to be running down those hills. Man. Oh, God. Hiking up the Hollywood sign was hard enough for me. I couldn't imagine
Yeah, if you're
doing it
going
without a
back
fucking
up,
paved road. I wore flip-flops walking up the Hollywood sign one time. Bad choice. Was not thinking. I blew my flip-flops out. They were my Jesus sandals, dude.
What, did you step on a pop top?
I wish.
No, Betty, go back. It's too dangerous
We
for
can
you
find that thing twice as fast if we both look.
Oh, I don't know about that, Betty. Not if you're gonna be
You
falling.
make me angry. But I like you very much.
In a moment, the moon will
Yeah,
come
it
from
does.
behind the
Yeah, it does,
clouds.
Glass Jaw.
It'll be easier to see what we're
I
looking
was wondering what the shoulder pat, that all that earlier reminded
from
me
your
of.
moon, it
Now
will
makes
help.
sense.
Same as it ever was.
Where are you from, Derek? I think I know. I think I've known for some time. You're not from this world, are you?
I did not know how to tell you.
It seems impossible to believe. You're so much like us. Like my brother, or Grandpa when he was young. And to think,
We were made the same. The only difference is that we were put on places far, far apart.
what is it like where you're from?
Babies are bred and raised like livestock, parented by the most perfect specimens of our race. If you become ill, you are put to death, as are the old.
You won't be going back ever, will you?
I shall make the earth my home, and I shall never, never leave it.
So one of the actors later said that the castmates would chuckle because they all knew that David Love, aka Chuck Roberts, was in a relationship with Tom Graeff. But you know, you would never talk about it. But it was very, very obvious, they said.
Derek. The crickets. It's so quiet.
A Gargan, get back! Oh, lucky, fine.
It won't work. Run. Go start the motor. Hurry.
I've been waiting for this giant lobster.
Well, there it is in all its glory. In the classic Bird-Eye Gordon fashion of rear projection, whatever that is.
It's the most terrifying thing I've ever seen. Why wouldn't the gun work?
Must have been damaged somehow when Thor was thrown in the crash.
You said that thing would keep growing. If it does, what can stop it from wrecking the city? And
I may be able to repair the damaged part of the disintegrator. If I can, we will stop the Gargan and give the Earth a weapon against invasion as well. If only I can get it to work.
I'm not so good with tools.
What was that?
Yeah,
Only a
yeah, you
coyote.
might be a little, you might second guess it.
There it is!
Got him. Wow, a monster. A lobster
Grandpa was so
monster.
exhausted he fell sound asleep with all
I
his
love it.
clothes on.
The media's gone all in on this being an actual monster.
I have found the
too.
damaged heart.
Not just stating the obvious.
Such a little thing. And yet it has the power to destroy as it does.
It is worthless unless I can figure out an energy substitute.
Maybe it won't come into the city, Derek.
It will come to the city. For more food, if nothing else.
Yeah, gotta get that human flesh. This guy reading a sci-fi novel.
This is Johnson at Station 86. Out by the hills, due northeast. There's some kind of a monster. It suddenly bobbed up and seemed to touch the sky. I have not been drinking. No, I can't see it now. It must be behind the hills, but I'm getting out of here.
Nice.
The few remaining survivors of the search party that was attacked report that the beast they encountered was many times the size they expected, indicating that the monster has some strange power of rapid growth. An exact description was... We have a bulletin just received. According to a report not yet confirmed, a beast of seemingly gigantic proportions has been sighted lurking in the hills due northeast of town. City officials have called for military help. Planes and troops are expected to arrive within the next 2 hours. Meanwhile, citizens should take refuge in places of safety, cellars, bomb shelters, as directed by civil defense administrators. I repeat.
Derek, they say it's coming. It has grown. It's just northeast of town. I'd better wake up Grandpa. We'll all go down to the cellar.
You go there with him. There is a chance I can do something yet.
What? What are you looking at?
Those wires, going from pole to pole. They carry the source of energy used for illumination and power in the homes.
Yes, electricity.
And the wires are spread throughout the city, are they not?
You mean you might be able to make the disintegrator work by hooking it to...
Possibly.
Oh, no.
If the power were great enough. It's the only chance, so I've got to try it.
I can help, Derek. I'm going with you.
Oh, what's going on? Oh, what's all the
Go back to
commotion
sleep,
about?
Grandpa.
Derek and I are going out to the edge of town. Wait for us
Sure, he
here.
was still
First, I
alive.
must put the disintegrator back together.
Yeah, I thought he was
and
gonna
then
be
find
blasted
proper
within
tools.
I can load
first,
the car with every tool we have in the garage.
All right, then. Let us go.
He's the Frank Reynolds of this movie.
Why aren't you in the cellar, Gramps, with Betty?
What makes you think Betty's in the cellar? She's out somewhere with Derek again.
Everybody's supposed to take shelter. The monster from the cave, it's approaching the town.
Huh? Then that's where they must have gone. Those crazy kids. Joe, we've got to try and find them.
You mean they... Come on, then, let's go.
Derek, look. You can't cut live wires.
I love the way that thing looks. Both of its claws up.
So, do you think they had like? Do you think they had it on strings or somebody like manipulating?
I
it
think
with
I
his
read. I
hands?
can't remember which source I read it on, but I think they said he was just holding it up, and it was
Okay.
This
just.
is
That's
an
just how it was.
emergency.
What it was
You
doing.
must connect me with the city electrical generating plant. Hurry.
Actually, there was a little,
Well.
some
Hello?
kind of little string.
Please listen to me. You must do as I say. The monster is coming towards the town. I'm at North Ridge Road. We have a weapon here that might be able to stop it if we can connect it to the power lines.
Who is this? I'll have to check with...
You have to believe me. There's
I
no
don't think
time
we
to
have the
check
kind
with
of cord
anybody.
for that.
Out there. That looks like them. Derek is climbing down a pole.
And look what's coming. We're not going to make it in time.
Restore the power, it is ready.
Hello? Turn the power back on.
Okay.
is not enough. It is
Oh,
not enough
no.
power.
Can you boost the power any, please? It's not enough.
I'll try to speed up the generators.
Derek seems to have some kind of weapon, but it's not doing anything. If only there were more power, Betty.
Is there any
Come
way
on,
to generate
Betty.
more power? We've got to have more.
I can join in more circuits, but it may blow up the line.
Try anything. It's our only chance.
Why am I listening to this teenage girl? Giant crustacean
Lobster
skeleton. What does that look like?
Exoskeleton.
Skeleton,
You can turn the
skeleton.
weapon over to the scientists now.
It is too late.
You mean they're coming?
They're coming.
Already?
Your people are here for you. I must leave. They will take care of you.
But Derek, you promised. You said.
I know what I must do. You must not interfere.
Betty, thank heavens you're all right. That book has indeed made you forget many things. We are the supreme race. We have the supreme weapons.
Somehow I feel that I've always known you. That we've never been apart.
What is he gonna do?
You are the son of our leader.
You won't be going back ever, will you?
How did he get a weapon like that? It makes me think of what the killer used.
It is. The same thing.
But who is he? Where did he come from, anyway?
Someplace none of us has ever heard of before, Joe.
What do you mean?
Clear from another planet. Far out in space.
Hey, wait a minute.
Betty, this is no time to be joking.
I'm not joking. Where do you think the monster came from? And the man who was doing all the killing and the unheard of weapon he used?
But how did
they came in a spaceship of some sort. Whatever those people told you they saw last night.
The flying saucer? And I thought those people were seeing things.
They weren't.
I
Derek
thought
looked
they
into
were
the
hammered.
sky just before he left here. Somehow, he could tell that more are on the way.
Getting real close with a car that doesn't have very good brakes.
There's our car.
Derek!
He had to go back for his space.
Goodbye, Betty.
No, Derek, no!
You are Joe. I want you to take me somewhere in your vehicle.
What makes you think I will?
You refuse to take me?
That's right. I'm staying right here.
You will do as I say.
Oh, no, Derek, this isn't you.
Do not interfere, Betty. I beg you. Get in. Take me to where they are keeping the prisoner.
The killer? He's at General Hospital, but...
Then take me there.
Joe, don't! The disintegrator, it won't...
Betty! Trust me, Betty. Trust me.
Derek seemed like such a nice fellow.
I never would have realized he was an alien.
He promised he would never leave. That he would never go back. I don't believe he wants to break his promise to me. I'm not gonna let him.
What can you do about it, honey?
I think I know where he's going. Out by the old mine. I want to go there. I want to see him once more.
He's hurt you enough, Betty.
Grandpa, please let me go. I must.
You know, in England, that sign would just say hospital with a meaning H.
The prisoner is in this building.
It looks like they haven't transferred him to city jail yet. What are you planning to do?
Never mind. Just get out of the car and walk in front of me. Do not move. I will
Stop
take the prisoner. Get their guns. Hand them to me. Now get in.
What's his plan?
You face the wall. Keep your hands above your heads. I was stupid, Thor. Very stupid. But that is over. We are returning to meet the ships. Together.
Why do you let them live? Kill them!
There is no need.
Classic
they will be dead
Thor.
soon enough.
Thor being Thor.
Along with everything else on this planet. Go!
Ships of an alien source are approaching from the sky. Radio contact has been attempted but cannot be established. Instructions are to prepare for an
Don't
attack
let the name
by an
Derek
unknown
fool
enemy.
What made you think he was coming here?
Because they're coming. Told me they'd be coming. Told me he wouldn't go back with them. That he'd stay. That he wanted to stay.
Betty, let me take you back home.
No, Grandpa, look, here comes Joe's car.
She was right.
Betty! Gramps, what are you doing here?
Why do you concern yourself with them? Destroy them!
Why, Thor? They cannot change what is going to happen.
What is going to happen, Derek?
You must understand. Death must come to all. Sooner to some, later to others.
Whoa.
The guide ship is about to land. We must go to meet it.
Your promise, Derek. Don't you remember your promise?
I have not forgotten it.
What are you up to, Derek? Derek.
We called that the guide ship. And it looks like there are 100 more still in the sky.
What are they going to do?
They won't
Derek
show
told
it.
me. The other ships are loaded with thousands of those horrible creatures, like the one Derek killed today.
Why are they bringing them here?
To raise, for food, a safe distance from their own people.
And they don't care what happens to us?
Derek cared. He wanted to make the Earth his home. He promised he would never leave. Oh, Joe!
I would have used the disintegrator on them, but it will not function without energy supply. It was damaged when you crashed. I had to bluff with it.
It is just as well. They will be the first victims of the Gargan herds.
Herds.
So you were able to bring him back, Thor.
He brought me.
I am sorry I acted the way I did. I am ready to take my punishment.
There will be no punishment, my son.
You are my father?
I am. I have watched your progress since you were born. You have excelled in all things. I was most disappointed to learn that you had deserted. I came this trip hoping I would find you had returned.
Has what I have done not disqualified me? Am I still to...
You are back. That is all that matters. Your mistakes were made because of that book. It blurred your mind, but only temporarily.
How is it you are able to leave the planet? Will not the government structure collapse in your absence?
We will return immediately, as soon as the Gargans are unloaded from the fleet of ships.
Can't be gone long.
The people are unaware that I am gone.
Yes, we must leave quickly. If your absence were discovered, it would likely spark the beginning of a revolution. I am not the only one who had that book, Father.
Yes, I know. And you will help in tracking
What do you
down
think
others
the
who may
book
have
was?
such books.
Yes, I see the fleet is approaching. They are flying from radio signals from the guide ship, are they not? Let me be the one to direct them in for landing.
Captain, are the ships close enough to receive their landing signals?
Momentarily, but...
Then go below,
Their
Derek.
stripes.
You will bring them in.
Everybody's got different stripes. Have you noticed that?
Okay, yeah.
Apparently, it's just masking tape.
Derek, what are you doing? Unbolt the hatch.
Here we go, Derek.
Looked like Derek went in first and closed the entranceway.
Whatever's in the sky, they're getting mighty close.
Derek has some plan. He's not doing what they want him to, I'm sure.
Master control to fleet. Master control to fleet. Increase speed. Set flight pattern to -0.08. Increase speed.
Open this hatch at once.
The ships seem to be converging and increasing their speed. They cannot land.
He doesn't plan to have them land, but crash. They're coming right at us.
Derek's doing it. That's what he planned.
But he's inside there. He'll be killed too. Get down inside the cave. My son, think of what you are doing. Turn the ships around before it is too late.
Hold course steady.
What? Damn. Brutal. So there were all these ships in the sky. They all just crashed in this one spot. Bless you.
I shall make the earth my home, and I shall never, never leave it.
I don't get it. I don't get it. Tom Graeff production. Wow. Well, that was Teenagers from Outer Space. What did we think, Evan?
Dude, I'm devastated. That was not what I was
I
expecting.
know.
from
I
this
didn't. I
movie.
thought he was gonna live there. I thought he was gonna like work it all out. I
Yeah,
thought he was
wow.
gonna make the revolution happen and like.
Well, I mean, I guess he kind of is implied that maybe he did.
Well, yeah. Well, certainly, if the leader's screwed, then
Killed his bad dad.
yeah, he did. The bad dad. He's toast. Yeah, I mean, I definitely did not expect him to do himself in like that.
Yeah, you know, we were talking about the the Jesus stuff earlier, and I mean, is this kind of a like Jesus narrative, sacrificing himself?
I mean, again, I think that there's the Graeff religion must have been a big part of his life, because obviously what we talked about earlier tonight, all the stuff that happened after the production of the film. But I almost even, I think that certainly what you just observed could be true. And again, maybe the book really is the Bible,
Maybe,
that's not,
yeah, they don't really say.
They don't say, which again, leaving it up, in the air like that. I mean, even more, they're not hitting you over the head with it, saying, oh, it was the Bible, but just this book, the book. But I enjoyed that movie a lot. I mean, it was really, the pace was snappy, but there was some emotional threads that really kept my attention. I mean, story-wise, there was a lot.
They were doing a lot with what little they had.
Right.
Like,
which, yeah.
I feel like this was a lot more high concept than a lot of the, small budget stuff that we see. I mean, the fact that, like, a lot of the conclusion is more or less happening off screen, but I didn't really, mind that too much. You still got some effects there with
that was the only thing that kind of irked me a little bit, as I was like,
I mean, it would have been better if there was something.
Give me something, right? When it's just, oh, look up here. It's like, all right,
okay,
I know. Yeah, it's crazy up there. I don't know. It's silly, but I mean, overall, yeah. I mean, just first time watch for me, not knowing what to expect. I really, really enjoyed this, and
it covered a lot more ground than I was expecting too. We had, in our break earlier, we were talking about how the gunfight felt like a climax moment from another movie, and that feels like it was like a year ago.
Yeah,
man,
dude, right?
How long was this movie?
It was up there. It was hour 26, so right under an hour and a half. That's right on par with our longest.
I mean, still, for an hour and a half movie, that we had the gunfight, which felt like a climax, the car chase, which felt like another climax, and then they fought the monster, which I thought that was going to be the end of the movie.
I think we both kept thinking, okay, here's the end.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the end. And it kept going. And it was, again, because we see movies on this show that are sometimes just an hour long, 26 minutes less. So you're an hour in, you're ready for it. But the more that they keep going, because we don't see movies this long, I think part of us in our mind, we're like, what else can they do? What else can they have? What else is gonna happen? But like this movie, because I think we've seen other movies that have certainly padded it out when that has been the case. But this was not one of those movies where it felt like it was padded out. It felt like the whole story beginning to end was all how it was supposed to be. And apparently, like, from his original cut to what Warner Brothers released, there weren't changes. Like, they released it pretty much as he shot it. The only thing that was different was that the title, when he sent it to Warner Brothers, was The Boy from Out of This World. And then Warner Brothers changed it to Teenager from Outer Space. So The Boy from Out of This World, I guess, is a little more like on par, but it almost sounds like a Disney film or a children's film.
It sounds like more of a love story, and I mean, I guess like it kind of is.
But it was also very much a cheesy science fiction film.
Yeah.
Like the Gargans. I mean, come on, dude. And even though there was only one Gargan, I enjoyed that, I don't know, lobsters, right? They're freaky looking. More people should make lobsters into monsters. I'm here for it. I'm here for the lobster monsters. So.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame. I would have liked to see, what this guy could have written if he had more of a budget.
Right. Yeah.
If they could have shown the big climax,
the ships,
everything, the ships and everything
right.
off screen.
Yeah, I mean, I think if he would have had the budget, I think just double the budget, he could have made it happen. I mean, and again, double the budget was what he sold it for, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of crazy. Like, I think that just watching it, I think we felt, even on this first watch, okay, yeah, special movie, solid movie, right? A movie
it is,
that,
yeah.
and again, a lot of people have felt that this movie has had that effect on people, and it didn't. When it came out, it didn't get a good reception. It didn't make that impression on people. It took time, and it was, I think it got sold to television in the early '60s, so it was shown on TV for decades, and then it was. In the 90s, the first time that the producers, the financiers were interviewed and started revealing, the truth, like the fact that David Love and Tom Graeff were in a relationship, things that nobody ever knew or would have guessed. And you're like, whoa, there's a whole story here. And so it became one of those things where, even it was just released to drive-ins. Like Warner Brothers really did not do anything special, but they made a pretty healthy profit. Then they didn't renew the copyright. They just let it lapse into the public domain. And so, you get all these uses of it. I think one of more that Evan and I will be familiar with is, the PS2 game Destroy All Humans. Apparently, this movie's an Easter egg in there. You can unlock it if you something. This and Plan 9 are apparently both Easter eggs in Destroy All Humans. But so I mean, just public domain status. It got to be used in things like that. Mystery Science Theater, obviously. There were. It was after all that it really, people started to dig into who is this guy who made this movie. And there was going to be a documentary and a biography on Tom Graeff that were both kind of in gestation around the mid-2000s. And they just never materialized. There's websites for both of these things where I got a lot of the information for tonight's movie from those two different websites. And it was tomgraeff.org, Tom Graeff Biography Project, Dennis Cooper blog, the biographer Jim Tunishke, he was writing this biography called Smacks of Brilliance, The Forgotten Life of Tom Graeff. But none of this stuff ever came out. And I read message boards today where they were still, as recently as 2010, 2012, we're trying to get information from people they're like, yes, this project is still going on, but now there's not anything really out there. And the one time that they one of the person doing the documentary responded to something on a message board, somebody that was really invested and wanted to know what was going on, messaged back, I've been trying to message you, what's going on? And then they didn't reply to that, so it seems like there's some weird stuff that went on. Maybe there's some other stuff going on with Tom Graeff, because the biographer says something about his suicide. There was something else behind it, and they tease some kind of connection to Kurt Vonnegut. I don't know. They like on the website they just tease it. Like they don't. There's nothing. They just say like, you know, but was his suicide? Blah blah blah. What does Kurt Vonnegut have to do with it? Blah blah blah. It's all going to be in the book. The book never came out. Weird, right? Same thing. Documentary like was going to touch on. Never came out. Why did these things never materialize? Because it's an interesting story. We talked about it all night, right?
Yeah.
So like, why wouldn't the fact that both of these competed? They weren't working together. These were competing projects, but they were both like friendly with each other. There wasn't like any animosity, but like, they just something happened. They never came out, and it's just weird that like there was no information on this movie. And then for like 20 years, all of a sudden, there's like this momentum of like, here's all this stuff. And then they hit a brick wall. They wanted to find David Love, AKA, let me get his names right. AKA Chuck Roberts, AKA, Charles Robert Collinthaler. And apparently, like these message boards, they're like, one person's like, I hired a private investigator to find him. And they were like, one person went to an address where he was supposed to live, and somebody like an old man peeked behind the curtains but wouldn't open the door. If he is alive, he doesn't want to talk about it. But there's also certain sources that say that his family said they haven't heard from him since the 60s. So there's a lot of conflicting information out there about what happened to the lead actor of tonight's film, which is another sad thing. You would have hoped at least he went out there and made some interviews, but he didn't. And so he probably could have shed a little more light on things, but